Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Happy Monday, everyone. Live from the Real Talk Studios from Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. This is A2D Radio. The Sports Hounds are with you till 10 o'clock. Brad Ryer with me as always. Frank Vesby back in the mix on the ones and twos, behind the glass. We got some stuff to talk about. The Eagles season is over. We have the MLB hot stove. The winter meeting started today, Brad. We had some questionable additions to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. And the Sixers are live in action right now, so we'll give you live updates as that game progresses. Just about halftime. Sixers holding 3 at home over the Detroit Pistons. Keep you updated on that. But, Brad, the Eagles season is officially over. They lose in Dallas yesterday, 29-23 in heartbreaking fashion. Brings us to the Scanzano Sports Poll question today. Who's to blame for the disaster in Big D? We have Doug Peterson, we have Jim Schwartz, we have Carson Wentz, who is not above criticism, ladies and gentlemen. And just because I am going to criticize Carson Wentz quite frequently over this 2 hours does not mean I want to get rid of Carson Wentz. It does not mean I think Carson Wentz is not the Eagles franchise quarterback. It does not mean I think he should be benched in favor of Nick Foles. But I don't want to hear about his knee. Carson Wentz's deficiencies yesterday go way past his knee. He's inaccurate. He has no pocket presence. And he doesn't have the intangibles and leadership skills that he showed in 2017. He is not the answer to my poll question, nor is my answer to the poll question Doug Peterson. Unpopular take right now, I think Doug Peterson is a good football coach. I am not firing Doug Peterson.
You can't
by no means.
Doug Peterson.
This is the rhetoric. People are upset, Brad. I'm upset at the loss, but I'm also resigned and overing it.
After one bad year, you can't fire him.
Absolutely not. I think Doug Peterson is a good coach. Doug Peterson needs better coordinators around him to complement his weaknesses. Because what Doug Peterson,
I agree.
Because what Doug Peterson has going for him, Brad, is he has the locker room. I think the players really enjoy playing for him.
I agree with you, and they will run through a wall with him.
I think the fact that he played the toughest position on the field at the highest level, quarterback, I know he wasn't a big star or anything like that.
But it doesn't matter.
He still made it to the mountaintop as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, that means something to these guys.
I also love the fact that Doug has been around coaches like Don Shula, Mike Holmgren, Andy Reid. He's been around legends like Dan Marino, like Brett Favre. Guys like that. These are all positives in Doug Peterson.
Listen, I don't know how people could blame Doug Peterson. I mean, come on.
Outside,
it's very, very difficult to repeat as a Super Bowl champion in football. It just is.
Yeah, but the fans don't want to hear that right now. The fans are angry.
Wow.
The fans are upset. The fans want blood, and I can't blame them. I was like that last night. I'm at peace with the loss now. The season was flawed from the get-go. I've said that this team was an 8-8, looked like an 8-8 team since the Minnesota loss. I think they'll kind of be lucky to win 8 games at this point. They might get to 8, but I don't think they're going to beat the Rams or the Texans. They might beat the Skins in Week 17, but in a who cares type of game.
The Redskins stink.
Yeah, well, it's a shame the Redskins didn't play Josh Johnson the whole time yesterday against the Giants.
Yeah, but that's no excuse for the way their defense played.
No. They saw They saw that they had no chance with Mark Sanchez very early in that game, and they quit like mutts.
Yeah, they did. And the Giants. I mean, you give the Giants a little credit, though. I'll tell you what.
They have
Saquon Barkley. They just gave Saquon Barkley the ball in the first half. 14 carries and 170 yards.
Right. It's unbelievable.
I mean,
we'll talk about your Giants when we go around the NFL.
Let's get back to the Eagles.
But these coordinators, I'm out on Deuce Staley. I am out on Mike Groh. And the answer to the Scanzano Sports poll question today is Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz is horrible, guys.
Yeah, I agree
he's
with you
the
about him.
complete worst. The only reason that defense held up yesterday is because they executed very, very well. Fletcher Cox had his best game of the season.
They also forced 3 turnovers.
Right. Michael Bennett was a madman.
But they couldn't get off the field.
Nigel Bradham played his best game of the year, and Rasul Douglas played the game of his life yesterday. So they and obviously Malcolm Jenkins played very well too, but he's played very well every week. He's a constant. That's what kept the Cowboys out of the end zone in the first half and gave the Eagles a chance. The talent on the field, not Jim Schwartz's dopey schemes, because that's what they are, is dopey. I don't understand how you can play press man coverage with inferior corners and have no safety help over the top. It makes no sense. I know birds of a feather. I know Charles knows X and O football better than me. Maybe you can log on and explain it. Chrome, anyone, Mataraki, Tom, anyone in the fam that's a coach that understands X and O football better than me. Explain to me how that makes any sense.
Why weren't you double teaming Amari Cooper yesterday?
Because Deion Sanders, Sidney Jones, according to some, had him one-on-one. Sidney Jones should have been even in the game.
That didn't turn out.
He couldn't even
very
run.
well.
Who are the Eagles medical people that they trot out injured players every week? I don't understand. You play press man on Amari Cooper the whole fourth quarter. You get torched. You have no safety over the top.
No.
Where are the safeties? They don't blitz.
Amari Cooper had a feeding frenzy in the fourth quarter.
But Brad, they don't blitz anybody. They try and get home with the front four.
They think that because of their front four.
Right, but where are the safeties if they're not over the top on press man coverage?
That's what I don't get.
Where are they?
But what I don't get, you know what? Here's the other problem, and I understand that they like their front four, but why not blitz? Why not put incredible amount of
Every
pressure on
time Dak Prescott had a guy in his face or felt pressure, he made a mistake. He
was panicking. I mean, the only real effective passes he made were when he went out on the bootleg and threw on the run. And if you notice, he always goes to his right. He never goes to his left. I mean, he just seems like the easiest quarterback to defend.
Jim Schwartz is a clown. He is an absolute bona fide stu-nod clown who doesn't deserve to have a job. He doesn't.
Gavin Keller wants to know when you think Schwartz will be fired.
He'll be fired at the end of the season. He'll be let go at the end of the season.
And also in the Facebook comments, they mentioned a certain coordinator, but it's not Jim Schwartz, but Mike Rowe, according to Neil Escorial, saying just fire Mike Rowe.
I'm out. I'm out on him and Deuce. They're too much like Doug.
Too much like Doug.
Doug needs coordinators like Reich and DiFilippo that are good at strategy, good at nudging Doug during the game. Be like,
let me ask you a question.
Hey, we got number 31 Anthony Brown. He freaking blows. Like, we can make plays.
Utilize that play.
And then Doug can look at his chart and be like, okay, well, we can get Golden Tate going over the middle.
And then
do that.
And then so slowly.
And then if you notice, and if Carson notices something, hey, call a bleeping audible. That's all you need to do. Call the audibles. And I think the scheme that Groh is throwing out there, I think it's limiting Carson.
Because Doug Peterson trusts his coordinators too much. I think he trusts his coordinators too, and it worked out for him last year because he had smart guys and DiFilippo and Reich around him. That's why that happened. But Mike Groh and Deuce Staley are running an offense suited for Nick Foles with Carson Wentz.
Yeah, the RPOs, it just does not work with Carson.
I want to put my foot through the TV when I see them running RPOs with Carson Wentz as the quarterback. It makes no sense.
You can't do that with Carson.
The other problem is that their running backs aren't good enough right now
to execute an RPO.
Right. To execute that kind of thing. Last year you had Jay Ajayi, who was healthy,
and Blunt.
And you had Blunt.
Right.
And everybody, you had to respect both of them.
Exactly.
Right.
And I mean, look, I understand, he's got a bad knee, but you can't tell me Carson Wentz has not regressed this year.
He has.
And
I don't want to hear about his knee.
Yeah, I mean,
I really don't.
He's
today.
regressed. The other
I
thing
understand.
is,
I understand it's a thing, and maybe that's.
It's part of it, but it's not something you
it's
can
not
blame
the
fully
whole-
on.
It's
not the whole thing.
Because if
No.
he's going to play quarterback like he played yesterday because of his knee, it's time for Carson to sit down. It's time for Nick Foles to play.
There was nothing wrong with his knee in the fourth quarter when they scored all those points.
no, and there's been
So I listen.
the second half of the
But
Jaguars
what
game.
is
He played
going on-
great.
What is going
Uh,
on in the first half every week that the Eagles
Look,
can't score?
Carson Wentz is woefully inaccurate this season. And now everyone's going to attack me. What do you mean? He's got 70% completion percentage.
Yeah, but
That's
it's more
not
than-
that doesn't tell
it's
the whole
more-
story.
It's
Doesn't.
more than that. It's putting the ball in a place where a receiver can catch it while he's on the run.
Bingo!
And be able to
Brad
get yards after the
Ryer!
Because that's an Eli Manning issue as well, by
You
the way.
win the showcase showdown. You get to spin the big wheel at the bottom of the hour.
Oh,
Bingo, Brad!
I had a song for it.
that's
Oh, you got a song?
I have a
no.
song for it.
A song.
Oh, my
no.
goodness.
Well, you got to stay in the shadows, Frank, and
Oh.
you got to push the right buttons.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Get out of here.
Oh, boy.
Like it.
I know.
I like it. I like it. Did you put the breaking news air horn back in for me?
I don't know where the air horn went.
That's all right.
That would be Ask Mr. Brodo.
Okay.
But yeah.
By the way, there was one guy who I thought looked pretty good and played pretty well, even though he had a very limited amount of touching the ball, and that was Sproles.
Absolutely.
He-
Sproles is he's mighty.
Sproles-
He's
Sproles, listen, we all know this is his last year, okay?
Yep.
maybe he'll come
we
back.
know that.
I hope he comes back.
That would be interesting.
I kind
I
of
would beg him. I would beg him to
if,
come back.
If I were the
He can
Eagles,
still go, man.
He can still go.
If
He
I
still
were
has
the
it in
Eagles,
him.
He's still really fast.
But
If I were the
is it
Eagles,
worth
they
worth
have to-
risking another injury again? That's my other worry.
But you have to give him the ball more.
Yeah.
These last, I listen. I
But they
understand.
tried to give him the ball more, and he tore his ACL and broke his wrist on the same. Like he's a limited player. I get what you're saying, but you got to be careful.
Somehow they have got to get the ball.
He
in
made the
his
two
hands
biggest
more
plays,
often.
the offense down the stretch.
Rob, that one play when the last touchdown that he caught, that he basically
He
basically ran
put
through
Van-
two guys.
He put Kyle Vander Esch on skates.
Yeah, and he
Schooled him.
basically banged them right into the end zone.
Yeah,
I
he
mean a
schooled
little
him.
guy like that.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, but all I'm saying is somehow the Eagles have got to get him more involved, especially this week against the Rams. And
Yeah,
I
that
know,
Rams
I know
game's
you
gonna be
guys.
tough.
I know you guys are already like being defeatist, and I get that because I'm.
Well, let's get back.
I
Let's
get
get back.
that, but
Can we get back to Wentz and your
Yeah.
point about
Yeah,
because Wentz
is
every
passing.
slant is slightly behind the receiver, and that makes
Yeah.
a difference. Because instead of
because
Alshon
they're
Jeffrey
not
going
running-
like this, as opposed to going like this
They're
and
not
tucking
catching.
and running,
They're not catching.
it's
it in
totally
stride.
different.
They're not catching the ball in stride. It's just like when I'm watching the Giants and Eli Manning throws a slant to Odell Beckham, and the ball's back, and Odell has to stop and reach back, and he can't use that blistering speed
and
to
he
get
catch,
around.
and he catches it.
He catches it, but
so
then he's
Eli's
tackled
completion
immediately.
percentage doesn't take a hit.
Exactly. But
he
then
gets a
gets
6-yard
5-yard
play
gain.
instead of a 50-yard play.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And that happens all the time.
Exactly.
Okay. Yesterday was an exception because the Giants' offensive line gave him all day, and he was making passes
Right.
to Barkley
yeah,
and
the
Ingram.
Redskins,
And
they,
they
I
were
mean,
just-
the Skins, they lay down for you.
no, especially their defense. I mean, it was.
And then another thing that's completely obvious to me when it comes to Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz, like Nick Foles. The best thing about Nick Foles is really good at anticipating and throwing to spots where there might not be a receiver there, but a receiver's going to break open at the last second. That receiver's going to catch it and then run.
The problem
Carson Wentz is not good at that.
The
Carson
problem
Wentz is running around and creating stuff, like almost
Right.
drawing plays up in the
and the
dirt
problem with
from a
Foles-
pro-style
the
set.
problem
Exactly.
with Foles is Foles doesn't have a big arm. Carson Wentz still has a Wurlitzer for an arm.
Well, he hasn't hit a deep ball in
Right.
about
But
4
he
games,
has a-
so
he
I
has
don't
a-
know how strong
Here-
his arm
here's my
is.
one
he
thing
has
with
he has a real strong arm. He has a way stronger arm than Foles. But the thing is,
Correct.
it just seemed like Foles. Just seems like the offense, especially in the first half, is always out of sorts. Every week their
Exactly.
offense starts slow. And you know what? If their offense starts slow against the Rams next week, they're
It
going
doesn't matter.
They're going to lose
It
by
doesn't
30,
mat-
40
Right.
points
It
again.
doesn't matter. Well, I don't think the Rams are good enough right now to blow anybody out by 30, 40 points. They're missing Cooper Kupp
Yeah.
bad.
The loss
But
of Cooper Kupp and especially
That's
the
fine.
rest of
I
that
think it's still-
secondary.
Brad,
Brad,
is-
it doesn't
gotta
matter.
help 'em.
It doesn't matter anymore.
They could still score though.
Yeah,
they
Maybe not
didn't.
against the
they
Bears.
still got it.
Maybe not against the Bears, but they could
It
still
doesn't
score.
matter.
That
The
was a
Eagles'
game.
season's over. Anyone who's touting the Eagles in the playoffs, now it's really over.
At this point,
That's
They're
basically
not-
it.
it's not really over because they mathematically are alive for the
they're
wild
they're
card.
alive,
They have
but
they have an 8% chance, according to the ESPN Football Power Index, to make the playoffs.
they're alive,
That means they're done.
but
That's 'cause of their
barely
schedule.
alive
Yeah.
at this point. It's basically life support. Like the only way I could see them in the playoffs if they can win out, if they somehow, some way upset LA, and if they beat a very hot Houston Texans team, and of course, I mean you could easily beat Washington, so they'll put you at least 9-7, and then you just gotta rely Dallas to lose against Indy and Tampa and the Giants. You gotta rely on that, but Dallas is probably going to win two out of three of those games.
Let me ask
at
you a
this
question, Frank.
point, if Dallas wins against Indy, that's it for us. So
Let me ask
that's
you a
all I
question.
got.
As far as the Giants are concerned,
Yeah.
Giants are playing some good football right now. It's not to me. It's not beyond the scope of possibility that they could beat Dallas.
they
the last
they
game
could
of the
beat
season.
Dallas. They could beat Dallas.
The way they've been playing right now, they've really been playing well. They've been scoring a lot of points. Dallas never really scores a lot of points against them.
Right.
I mean, we'll see what happens. At this point, to score 40 points without Odell Beckham is just shocking.
Yeah.
To score 40 points for the Giants to score 40 points is shocking to begin with, but to do it without Odell Beckham is even more shocking.
All right, Frank, what's going on Facebook?
Over on the Book of Faces, we got Chrome joining us.
Chrome.
He says, "Hey fellas, he actually
Big move for his Cardinals. We're talking about that
Yeah.
on YouTube, MLB Hot Stove.
Yep.
I'm in. I love the MLB Network.
He-
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
is.
I watched it
It
all
is.
day today.
Oh, they're
all
great.
day.
They're great. I love them.
Fantastic.
He says that with his answering to the poll question, he actually says Mike Rowe as well. But in this game, the repeated burning of Sidney Jones was brutal.
Yeah,
he
'cause
agrees.
Sidney Jones stinks.
He agrees with
Stinks.
Rob with
I hate Sidney Jones. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. All I see when I look at Sidney Jones is Alvin Kamara. You take a guy with a torn Achilles over Alvin Kamara? You got to be better than that. It's so frustrating. It's the easiest. It's common sense logic. Kill me.
I do have to tell you, though, that I think the running back situation now in the NFL, after seeing Kamara getting drafted high and Elliott getting drafted high and now Barkley
Kamara's
getting
second-round pick. Maybe even third-round. I forget.
I thought he was a first round,
No.
late first round. He was a second round.
Christian
pick.
McCaffrey went in the first round.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
it's McCaffrey. Okay, McCaffrey's been pretty
He's
good.
good.
too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Eagles had no chance at him.
Listen, a top running back, a generational type running back, can fit in any era and play on any team.
Right, like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I watched Saquon.
Are there still
Barkley.
Giants fans that are disappointed that they didn't take a quarterback?
There better not be, because this
Bunch
guy.
of dopes.
I'm telling you right
Bunch
now.
of dopes. Anyone who thinks
if you-
I never said that, but I know
if you-
people
if
did.
you think if you watch him, he looks like Jim Brown to me. The way he hurdles guys and
Oh,
as
yeah.
fast as he is,
It's unreal.
and how he runs over people, and how he can just turn up the jets.
Me and my buddies,
He
me and
is
my buddies were
unbelievable.
talking. Me and my buddies were talking yesterday because we had Zeke. We were playing against Zeke. We're all Eagles fans. We're playing against Zeke, and we have Barkley. We're like, if I'm starting my team and can pick any running back, all due respect to Todd Gurley and Alvin Kamara, I'm taking Zeke
Barkley.
or
Barkley
Barkley.
Barkley is a phenomenal
I'll take
receiver
Barkley.
as well. He's got 78 catches this
Well,
year.
Zeke's going to have 70 catches this year.
Does he have that many now? Wow. Okay.
That's what he's on pace
Okay.
for. Yeah, they're really
But
using
did he
him
catch
this
that
year.
many as a rookie though?
This is his first year being a.
Okay, because I mean he's
prominent
Barkley's
receiving.
doing this in his rookie
And
year.
Then we got to face. That's 4 of our games.
Yeah,
That's 4 of
4
our
of the
games
games.
every year.
Yeah.
And then
Go ahead, Frank.
continuing on the Facebook involving Chrome, he agrees with you, Rob, with Doug having too much faith in Grow. The Grow drives Chrome up a wall. Was never a fan of the moment he was hired. Then we got Tom Arnone saying, "What's up, boys?" And then we got, I hope I get your name right, Xad T. Ginn saying, "How do you leave guys like him on an island to cover Amari Cooper. Still
I don't get
blows
that. I
his
don't get
mind.
that at all.
I don't
Where
get why
are
they-
the safeties?
I don't
If the
get why they
safeties
don't-
aren't blitzing,
I don't
why are they
get
not
why-
helping over the top
I
on
don't get
press
why
man
they're not-
coverage?
I don't get
It
why
makes
they're
no
not
sense.
double covering him. I mean,
Exactly.
how do you not double cover Amari Cooper?
And then Kyle Kramer also says as well, the offense is hard to watch. Wentz needs to get rid of the ball quicker.
Great point. Because he holds the ball way too long. That fumble should
Exactly.
have never happened yesterday.
Yep.
He has no internal clock. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe the
Right.
surgeon took it out when they
Yeah.
replaced his knee ligaments. He has no internal clock.
Right.
I think you know.
He
what, I
has
think
no feel for the game.
Part of it was that last year the Eagles' offensive line was so good.
Line
had
wasn't a problem.
all
Line was
day-
not a problem yesterday.
I'm just
It was
saying
not.
though, he had all day to throw last year, all day, every day, every play. Okay, this year it's not quite as good, and he doesn't have quite as good a running game. You know, and it just seems like he's been out of sync ever since he came back. He really has been, and he always seems to start slow. And I mean, I mean, is it the coach not preparing this offense every week, or is he making adjustments at halftime that makes them that much better? I mean, I don't get it.
Because Doug is relying on Groh to do the legwork so he can make his plays, and Mike Groh stinks. And
Yeah.
Deuce
Yeah,
Staley
then he's
and Deuce Staley stinks. Sorry, guys, I said it. Deuce Staley should be fired
Then he needs
along
to
with
make-
Mike Groh.
then
I
he's
know
gonna
everybody
make-
loves him because it's Deuce, but
He's gonna
proof's
need
in
to
the
make a
pudding.
change.
And the players love Deuce too. So
okay, but
I'll
you
tell you-
can't. You
I'll tell
got
you
to.
right.
Let me ask you a question. Would you take Todd Bowles as your defensive coordinator?
That's correct.
I would
Todd
I would
Bowles-
bring Bowles
Todd
back.
Bowles,
correct, yeah.
Todd Bowles is not a
Excellent.
good head coach, but
No, I agree with
he
you.
is a good defensive coordinator.
Well, he won. He did win yesterday.
Yeah, the Darnold won, basically.
Well, you got to have players to win.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Darnold has
I mean,
no help.
he's,
Darnold was
he's
pretty good
definitely
yesterday,
Todd
but
Bowles definitely surprised
And
for
as
I've
a
heard-
couple years.
coordinator,
I've
as a
heard rumblings
coordinator,
that-
he'd be good.
I've heard rumblings that Gary Kubiak wants to get
I
back. back in
actually
the
heard
mix.
Kubiak.
I would hire him.
I
for
heard
five-
Kubiak.
How
I'm
long has he
hearing
been-
rumblings. Well, not really
How
rumblings,
long
but
has
from
he been
these
out of the
Eagles groups.
game?
Kubiak?
Yeah,
a couple years.
A couple years, yeah. Probably after when Manning retired, so maybe 3-4 years.
That's
And,
a long
I'm
time.
hearing like one name rumbling around with Mike McCarthy being a potential candidate.
he's gonna be a head coach. Are
Yeah,
you
I-
kidding?
He'll be a head coach.
I do think he's going to
Yeah,
get the job in Cleveland. Yes.
Yeah, that's possible. Or possibly the Jets.
No.
Two
because
good
he-
young quarterbacks. I mean,
I'm not a Darnold guy.
well, either way, I don't think you
Baker
can go wrong
Mayfield's
with
a
a good
stud.
young quarterback. Yeah, Baker Mayfield is.
Oh, yeah.
Baker Mayfield is there already.
We gotta give Tommy Boy some credit on that one. He had Baker pegged as a
Yeah.
stud the whole way. So good for Tommy.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Finally
He-
got
I was
one right.
skeptical.
He
I
got
was
one right.
skeptical at first, but he's
I like
get
his
get,
swag
get,
and
get him the
bravado.
right coach. I think you're going to get something very special with Baker. Just need the
let me
right
look
coach.
at YouTube here.
Yeah, YouTube is flying.
Pretty daggone good already.
Rosca's in here. The
Hey,
Rams
Rosca.
lost 12-2.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
The Rams
You'll
are
get
gonna
him
be
next.
fine.
You'll get him next time.
Rams aren't going to win a playoff game though. Will not win a playoff game.
Let me think. They're going to end up playing the Bears. No, they're not going to beat the Bears.
They're out.
The Bears are going to.
Bryce Blackwell, the refs were horrible. Not talking about the refs. Skipping over that comment. Only nerds and losers complain about referees.
Well, at least
Let
they're
it go.
consistent.
It's like how we talk about on the fix. According to one Mr. Noah Eaton saying, "Stats are for losers."
He's
That-
right. It's about wins and losses.
The stats help add some proof, but they don't prove everything.
It's true.
No.
Smart guy, Noah.
Good old Noah
I got to
Eaton.
listen to the fix. I've missed the fix the last couple of
The,
weeks. I missed the fix.
I think another part of the issue yesterday, though, was the fact that the defense could not get off the field.
They could not.
I mean, the Cowboys had the ball.
But I'm fine with that
to-
because they didn't let up touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah, but you can't. But the whole point is your offense has no chance to get into a rhythm when they never have the ball. I mean, every time the Cowboys got the ball, they were just hogging it. They'd
Well,
hog it for 5 to 6 minutes, even when they weren't
It
doing
doesn't
anything.
help that
they would get 3 or 4
Eagles'
first downs before
the
they
Eagles'
punt.
first 5 possessions were 3 and outs, Brad.
No, I understand that, but how about the Cowboys going 3 and out a couple of times?
But
I
then
mean,
they're
do they always have to get 3 or 4 first downs every time they get the ball? I'm just saying, Rob.
it's
I mean,
defensive scheme. Jim Schwartz's players, a handful of them played very well and came ready to play. But Jim Schwartz's scheme is garbage. He's a stu-not. He's a clown. I hate him.
David Roska thinks that the Rams are going to win the divisional round and go to the NFC Championship. But David, based on the way they played last night against Chicago, I mean, I know maybe they just didn't want to play in the cold weather. I don't know, but their offense didn't look too good last night. They really looked pretty bad. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, let's see how they play against the Eagles before you go putting them in the NFC Championship.
Bob from Bucks, Wentz deep ball is too flat, needs more arc, drop it in. Yes, Carson Wentz is horrible at throwing the deep ball. I mean, he should have had a touchdown to Nelson Aguilar in the latter stages of that fourth quarter. It was a terribly thrown ball, and Nelson Aguilar.
Oh, that incredible catch that he made.
Yeah, Nelson Aguilar made the catch of his life to haul it in.
Yeah.
That was an unbelievable catch. The fact that he
missed Tate on a deep ball.
Yeah.
He missed a couple of deep balls. He's got to improve on that. Bryce Blackwell, Sidney will be fine. Give him one more year with a new defensive coordinator. But yes, I agree that was the wrong pick. I can't stand Sidney Jones. I hate him. I hate him.
Why don't we just pick, at the time it was like, all right, this
Oh,
was
yeah.
a guy.
Let's just throw away a second-round pick
Exactly.
on a guy with a torn Achilles.
And a guy who was supposed to be a top 10 guy is hurt, and we don't know where his recovery process will be. So I was very skeptical. I wasn't much of a fan of that pick. There were other healthy corners around that pick, like Chidobe Awuzie.
Yeah, he started yesterday.
Yeah, and he started.
And Foolish Demon wants to know, is saying now everybody is turning on Carson. We're not.
No one's turning on Carson.
We're not turning on Carson.
Why
Wentz.
does it have to be like this? Why does it have to be like? Why can't I say that Carson Wentz played bad yesterday?
He's not playing well this year.
Steams. Nobody's turning on Carson. If you want to watch somebody
not.
turn on Carson, there's a show at Saturday at 1:00 that does that.
Yeah, he doesn't like Carson.
Yeah, we're not turning on him.
But
We're
he goes
just
out
saying
of his way to
he's
be
not
contrarian.
playing. He's not playing well, and he has regressed. Now, again, it could be his knee, but I think it's more than that.
Why can I not? Why if I say one negative thing about Carson Wentz? Because he played terrible yesterday. He played like complete trash. There was a franchise quarterback on the field yesterday in that game, and his name was not Carson Wentz. I got news for you. Dak Prescott clowned Carson Wentz yesterday.
Dak Prescott also made a couple of very bad passes yesterday.
Right.
He had that one interception that he threw. The guy was wide open, and he overthrew him by 10 yards.
Yeah.
So Dak Prescott isn't exactly perfect either.
But I don't understand why you hate Carson Wentz. You're a Nick Foles guy. No, because I watched the game with my eyeballs, and I'm real with myself, and I'm telling you, Carson Wentz played like trash yesterday. Trash.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Reason they lost the game, but he played like trash.
Rob is not saying that he wants the Eagles to trade Wentz or cut Wentz, guys. Okay, he's just pointing out the obvious. He didn't play well yesterday, and if anybody watched, Carson Wentz played 15 minutes of football yesterday.
No,
okay?
he played 8 minutes of football
yesterday. He played one quarter.
I'm not giving it because I'm not letting him off the hook like that.
He played half a quarter.
He
played half a quarter of football
but his
yesterday.
knee is hurt. Well, if his knee makes him play like he played yesterday, he should be on the bench. Foles should be in.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but it's enough of crying about his knee. If he's healthy enough to be on the field, then he's out there. He's playing.
It's facts, Rob. It's facts.
If he can't, play,
facts, Rob.
If he can't play,
deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Did you like that Tom Arnone impression?
Oh.
It's pretty good, right?
Not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Not bad.
Some more comments coming in on Facebook. John Skeel saying, watching the defense on that last drive was like a slow death. He also asked the question, do the Eagles keep Tate or Nelson?
I am a big
Harlem Cowboy. Harlem, I hope you're from Dallas.
He's not from Dallas.
He's from Harlem.
Harlem,
I
like
think.
New York? Like, why are you a Cowboy fan living in New York, Harlem? I just curious.
What was the question, Frank?
Do you keep Nelson or Tate?
Right. I'm letting Brandon Graham walk.
Okay.
I'm using that money to re-sign Golden Tate.
All right.
and I would seek a trade because
And if I'm the Giants, I'm signing Brandon Graham ASAP.
that's fine. That's fine.
Because, my defensive line stinks.
That's
and
fine. That's
I
fine.
could use him.
Pay a player on past performance, not what he did in the now. That's fine. That's always a smart move. And
Compared to who we have now, our
Nelson-
defensive line.
Nelson Aguilar, I would desperately seek a trade because we're stuck with him for a year, right?
Who is this? Hollins?
No,
Or
Nelson Aguilar.
Nelson.
Why are you stuck with him for a year?
I think it's because
they
of the
picked
rookie
up his-
deal.
He picked up his
I
fifth-year
thought that
option.
I thought
okay.
they turned down the fifth. I thought they turned
That
down
means
that
they
fifth
can't
year.
trade him?
No,
Let me
that
see.
means they instead of him being a free agent after this year, they picked up his fifth-year option.
But
so
they could still trade him if
that's
they
correct.
wanted to.
That's
okay.
what I would want to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, they could still trade him.
I think they
The only thing- he was
declined
a-
it.
Yeah, look up his
Oh,
contract.
all right. It is picked up.
Was he
it was a
first
while.
round?
So
was he
he's
a
on-
first round pick?
He's on my TS. Chip.
Yeah.
He was
Oh.
a gift from one Chip Kelly.
Harlem Cowboy. Stop comparing Brady to Dak.
Stop.
You just sound so silly. I mean, come on. Dak Prescott. Let me tell you something about Dak Prescott. Okay, Dak Prescott has an offensive line and Ezekiel Elliott.
Then he asked why is
He
it
is
so
not-
many Philly fans in New York? Because they're 90 miles apart, and
Yeah,
people go to
why
New
are-
York to
but-
have
But why?
jobs
why
and
is
careers.
there? Why is
Yeah.
there a Cowboy fan living in New York? Okay, unless you're just a fair weather fan who just roots for the Cowboys because, oh, I saw Craig Morton when I was in my pajamas. I mean, you got.
I like stars.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. I mean,
Oh.
unless you live in Texas, don't tell us how big a Cowboy
Right.
fan you are. You're
All
a
right.
fraud.
So Demon
You're a
wanted to clear
fraud.
the air about the question. He says there were multiple videos of Eagle YouTubers saying that Carson should be benched. He got here. He just joined in, so he hadn't heard your take on
Yeah,
our take on
that's
Carson.
fine.
So
Hey,
Dak,
if you don't
Dak
like
was giving the game away yesterday. By the way,
I
he tried
okay.
his best.
just
Okay.
refresh it to Deems when we have the
I hope he
on
bounces
the tip.
back next year, but he didn't play like a franchise elite quarterback yesterday, and I'm sick of hearing about his name. John D. Casanova laughing my ass off. Clowned Carson. Dak was a joke and the Eagles' best player until the fourth quarter. I'm assuming he means the fourth quarter.
yeah.
Both QBs were bad. Period. See, now I don't.
Dak can't throw the ball more than 15 yards down the field.
He threw the ball a lot more than 15 yards down the field. Did you watch the same game that I did?
Yeah, I did. He's not
Dak
accurate.
Prescott played well yesterday. I hate to
Dak-
break it to Eagles
yeah.
Nation, but he
He
played well yesterday.
Yeah,
actually
every time.
played
Listen,
well.
when he drops back to pass, okay, and he has to throw the ball with
Right.
any distance, he's not accurate. I mean, I would drool to watch him try to throw the ball way down the field. He's just he's not.
I mean,
that
Jim
good.
Schwartz's defensive scheme definitely aided Dak Prescott. I mean,
Dak
500
Prescott is
500 yards passing is 500 yards
Dak
passing.
Prescott. What he could do is when he does that little sprint out going to his right, he's pretty good at throwing the ball down the field. But as far as if you keep him in the pocket, I don't think he's all that effective. So I mean, maybe
no,
it's me.
he's effective unless he's pressured. He
Well, you put-
panics when he's pressured, and the few times he was panicked, the one pick was an outstanding read by Rasul Douglas. So you got to tip your cap to Rasul Douglas. That was the one by the end zone
Okay, yes.
where
yes.
Rasul came off his man in zone and picked the ball. I mean, that's
But the
you got to tip your cap
the
to
other
Rasul
one,
there.
the other one, he had a guy wide open.
and the other two weren't the best pick. But I mean, if you really want to tell me that
But
Dak
they
Prescott
had
was
he
not
had
good
two- a fu-
yesterday,
he
I
had
have
a-
to disagree.
He had a fumble and he had 2 interceptions. I mean, he turned the ball over 3 times. I understand he had a lot of yardage. Yes, he did. But I mean, you can't deny the turnover. 3 turnovers is way too many turnovers in a game of that importance. I mean, the Cowboys are very fortunate that they won that game with 3 turnovers. You know, I mean, if they do that against a real good team, they'll get toasted.
All right. So we got more comments in the Facebook section. We got in the Facebook section, the Facebook chat. We got Kyle Kramer bringing up the playbook, saying RPO doesn't work when you don't run the ball. Defenses know when they are not going to run. Daryl K. Adamson
Great point.
saying Carson did show up until the 4th.
Not even the 4th. He showed up for the last 8 minutes of the game.
Right.
And it was
and
almost-
he corrected himself. Didn't. Eagles should have won that game. Then we got Dion Brown joining us, saying, "What's up?"
Hello, Dion. Always a pleasure having you on.
And I know you're not going to be a fan of the first sentence by Mr. Brown. He says, it was a poorly officiated game yesterday by far, and Carson had to play better in his book. He looked like a rookie in the first half. And then we have Daryl asking another question again. This is almost the same exact question asked by Corey Iwachiu, saying, Deuce Staley, offensive coordinator.
See ya. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm
out.
I would be out on him too. I'm not convinced about him.
Yeah.
But Corey also says, well, bringing up the notion of Deuce's OC, saying give him a shot. It's not like Juan Castillo going to defensive coordinator.
No,
it's worse.
But I'll tell you what. As far as guys that you can pick up next year, if you think about some of the coaches that are going to get fired next year, rather at the end of the season, okay, I think there's going to be a coaching change in Atlanta.
Dan
I
Quinn.
disagree.
Huh?
I disagree.
I think
very injured team.
They're 4-10 now, right?
Yeah,
but
very,
4-10.
very, very injured team.
Yeah, but they
have a lot
play
of
well.
talent. They have a quarterback. I don't think Dan Quinn gets fired.
I don't know. I think he might. There's
I
going to
count
be
5. I count 5 head coaching jobs.
Bowles is going to be gone.
Agreed.
Okay.
I think there's no question about that.
Adam Gase is a total idiot. He should be fired.
Yeah.
I know they won yesterday on that miracle, but come on.
Yeah, but
Adam Gase isn't good.
No, I agree with you. What about the Buffalo head coach?
No,
Sean McDermott.
McDermott is a phenomenal football coach. They need to be patient with him because I love Josh Allen.
What about Doug Marrone?
In Jacksonville, not his fault.
Okay.
Not his fault?
No. No,
that's a tough one.
No, I keep him. Okay. If he has another bad season next year, then you get rid of him. You can't just fire your coach at the drop of a hat.
All right.
You can't just do that. It doesn't help anything. I know a lot of
these teams do it, though.
You have Green Bay, who I think is going to grab DiFilippo off Minnesota.
I agree with you on that. I think that's
possible.
And I think that's a perfect. I think that's a perfect match with Rodgers and DiFilippo. That'll be great.
Yes.
That'd be a smart move.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the other hot seats.
Cleveland and Green Bay already open.
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
Tampa Bay, Cincinnati are on the verge.
Cincinnati should be.
Cincinnati, at this point, you would think that
so that's 3. Cincinnati. Miami.
Yeah.
I don't understand how Dirk Cutter is going to have a job.
I'm surprised he's still around this season. I mean, despite the wonders that happened with Fitzmagic, he's been on the hot seat for at least 5 games long for me.
What about the Arizona Cardinals?
Steve? It's his first year.
Okay.
Too early.
Okay.
So what do we got? The Jets, the Bucks, the Dolphins, the Packers, the Bengals, and the Browns. So 6.
I think maybe Atlanta.
I don't agree. I mean, who knows? I disagree.
Yeah.
With all that offensive talent, though, they really.
I still see Cincy,
but
Tampa.
their whole defense is hurt.
I understand that, but they
and that division's kind of good. Tampa,
is it though?
Yeah,
is it? Carolina hasn't played well. Carolina's under 5. Carolina's lost 5 in a row now.
Yeah, they suck.
They're
Yeah,
6 and 7.
the Rivera seat's getting warm. I doubt he's going to lose his
that
job.
Guy's a good coach.
He's a good coach, but I don't think he's going to lose.
Well, he's got a high school teenage girl as his quarterback. He's the most moody, mopey quarterback in the world. Cam Newton, I have no time for that.
Losing Olsen though really hurt them.
Yeah.
That was a critical loss for their offense. But I mean, that's a team that started off great and is completely falling apart. And by the way, had they not kicked a 63-yard field goal against the Giants, they'd have another loss.
Let me take a look at the.
So the Panthers right now they've really fallen on some hard times.
They are a couple pieces away from getting the big one. I mean, I'm looking at the roster. It's a talented roster. I mean, just the big problem is, injuries are a huge factor.
Who are you talking about?
The Panthers and Ron Rivera, and with Rivera being on the hot seat.
No, I like
Rivera.
I can't imagine
they're just too hurt right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they would fire him. That would be kind of surprising.
Yeah.
What about Patricia? You think they're going to give him? Think he's going to get another year?
He's going to get another year.
Okay. Okay. Again, Rob and I disagree about Atlanta, but I
That's
think
fine. So
I think
6 or 7 jobs that are going to be open.
there's going to be that. But if you look at all the coaches that are going to get the axe or might get the axe,
And I will.
some of them would make some pretty good coordinators. You're going to get some pretty good coordinators there.
Someone will hire Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
I do think that he
I'm
seems
hearing-
like a sharp guy.
I'm hearing Lincoln might be the next Browns coach. If not Mike McCarthy,
Makes a lot of
Lincoln
sense.
Lincoln Riley is
Or
Make a
up on
lot
that
of
the
list.
next Jets coach.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to be somebody for the Jets. I think it's going to be somebody, and Cleveland's got to be somebody who can work with the quarterback. Because you got all this,
Right.
you got such a high ceiling with those
you
two
traded
teams.
up. You traded a bunch of picks if you're the Jets for.
Yeah, to get Darnold,
Yeah.
and the Browns obviously spent their first pick on Baker, and Baker looks like a good player, but you want the best coaching you can to make because you want this guy to be the best quarterback in the league at some
Let me
point.
see.
So you want a quarterback, you want a coach that's going to be able to bring that out of him, and he certainly has the ability to do that. That's for sure.
I'm taking a look at a bunch of these. I'm going to see if there's any potential names that might jump from NCAA to NFL. Nothing really.
I hate
standing
doing
out.
that because Chip just
Yeah,
stuck it up-
nothing's
stuck it
really
up our
standing out
keister.
to me. Yeah,
released all of our players. and
nothing.
left.
Nothing I see standing out. I mean, a lot of.
Well, I got one for you,
New
Greg
names.
Schiano.
Stop. He was an idiot.
He was a great coach for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, though.
Yeah, nothing's really standing out. Other than
You know what? As far
other
as,
than
as far as
Cliff Kingsbury being a potential candidate, but he's
you don't
already
think
taken the
we-
job at Southern
Rob, you
Cal.
don't think they would take him back
you're
to the
over.
second?
You're overthinking.
I'm overthinking, but it's already confirmed
No.
that
Lincoln
that
Riley.
Kingsbury's over in with USC now with Clay Helton, but
Did Clay
Yeah.
Helton get fired?
no, Clay Helton's still around.
Is there any truth to the rumor that Texas and Oklahoma might join the Big Ten?
I'm not buying any of that rumors whatsoever. That would be devastating
Great.
for the Big 12
So now we're
if you
gonna
lose
have-
their if you lose your cornerstones of that conference.
What do you have? You have 18 teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Are they gonna have 18 teams? It's hilarious because the Big 12 has 10 teams.
Yeah.
And the Big 10 has 12 teams. 14 teams now, really. Makes no sense. I don't understand college sports.
me neither.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. So
Makes
what
no
are we
sense.
looking at now for the top four and playoff teams in
What?
the NCAA?
NCAA.
Yeah, what are we looking at?
We have Alabama versus
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
That's going to be a massacre.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
And
That's
then
gonna be a
Clemson
massacre.
against Notre Dame.
I like the upset there.
That'll be fun to
That's
watch.
going to be a good game.
I like the upset there. I do.
I need to find a
Even
bar to
if
watch
Notre
that
Dame
game.
doesn't win, 11.5-point line is way too much.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And it also shows you when looking at this game, especially the legend that is known as Trevor Lawrence. If that's going to be one of those games that could potentially make him a potential Heisman candidate going into next year. So
I think he's going to be a Heisman candidate.
yeah,
Foolish
Going into
de-
next
he,
year.
he's
Foolish
probably
Demon
going to be
thinks
the
the guy can
most
sling it.
hyped quarterback.
Foolish Demon thinks the Sooners are going to beat Alabama.
Yeah, I'm not buying
With
that.
that defense? Are you kidding me?
I
First of all, do you think Alabama is going to give up 50 points? Because I think Alabama will score 50 points on that defense.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I like Oklahoma plus 14.
I do like the spread.
Yeah. Okay. But I think Alabama's going to beat them pretty
But if
easily.
Kyler Murray's not perfect, they're
Yeah.
going to get run.
I'll tell you what. How about the performance of Jalen Hurts in the Georgia game?
That's awesome for that guy.
I'm glad he got his moment.
Yeah, I mean
He needed
seriously, that was a feel good. Tua was not sharp that game, and when he came out, it was almost like you're watching the game, and I'm saying to myself, as good as he is, man, they really might want to consider a quarterback change because Georgia was all over him.
Yeah.
I mean, they needed some kind of a spark, and boy, when he came in, did he give them a spark? What a great job. Let's go around the NFL, Rob.
What do you want to talk about?
Wow, what a great segue.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to go around the NFL
right.
and go over some of these games because there were some interesting ones yesterday.
A very
starting
weird week for football.
Yeah, starting with the Bears and the Rams. Which,
Sorry, Rosca.
Yeah, the Rams came in and didn't want to play in the cold.
They got kicked in the teeth.
Yeah,
by the Bears.
they ran up against a defense that was
I
kind
think
of embarrassed a little bit by the New York Giants.
I think
And
four
came out with a
teams have.
vengeance.
I think 4 teams have separated themselves.
Yeah.
2 in the AFC, 2 in the NFC. And I think the Saints and the Bears have separated themselves as the 2 best in the NFC. And I think the Texans, even though they lost yesterday, and the Chargers have separated themselves as the 2 best teams in the AFC.
Be careful.
I still give Kansas City a fight. I don't think there's something missing in Pittsburgh and New England this year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then
you can't throw out New England though.
No, New England's going to still make a run.
New England, you're gonna have to put the dagger into their hearts before they go down.
Right.
Losing Kareem Hunt is just a devastating loss for
the offense.
Spencer Ware, you don't think Spencer Ware can?
He's a decent player.
He's a serviceable player.
He's not a game breaker like
no.
Kareem.
No, but you know what? They still can score enough points.
They can.
With Kansas City, it's going to be a question.
Pat Mahomes still playing unreal.
Defense?
He has no margin for error.
Can they play enough defense?
Well, they're
going to
play the Chargers on Thursday.
Yeah,
that's going
to be a test.
That is going to be I mean, as far as the division is concerned, I think that's the division right there, right? So
yeah, that is. Let me take a look at the Chargers schedule. I think they got one. Well, I know the Chargers have one more game in the division. That's against Denver. That's the Week 17 for Sunday Night Football. And Kansas City. And then their Week 17 games against Oakland, which is going to be the early game.
The Denver Broncos really came out awful yesterday.
Yeah, but they're not that good a team.
Yeah,
I know, but you know what? They're making runs. They're beating top teams each week to get themselves back into the playoff picture.
They're hanging on.
Then they go to San Francisco and take a big dump there. I mean that
was a game you should not have lost.
No.
If you're the Broncos,
that's a terrible loss for the Denver Broncos.
Because then, had you won against San Fran, you would have been easily into the wild card picture. Now you got
absolutely.
Now you got the Saturday game against Cleveland,
which is not going to be easy.
What is it? Saturday games?
It's the Saturday. It's the Christmas schedule games.
Yeah, that's
this Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Saturday games this week. Houston and the Jets are on this Saturday, I think.
And then the Monday Night Football on Christmas Eve against Oakland, and then you host the Chargers in Mile High Stadium.
And then you have the Tennessee Titans.
The Tennessee Titans. Yeah, then you got
so it's either going to be the Titans or the Ravens. And
it's either Titans, Ravens, Dolphins still in the hunt. Broncos are still in the hunt. The Browns not really in the hunt, but they can play spoils.
They can beat any one of these teams.
Yeah, they could easily play spoils to Denver and Baltimore's playoff hopes.
I can see the Titans losing to the Giants in New York.
Yeah,
the Giants are playing well right now.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think at this point, the Titans are a good matchup for the Giants because they don't really have the kind of receivers.
Is that who the Titans play this week?
Yeah, they play at New York. Against the Giants. I think the Giants can run the ball against them. The Titans have a pretty good defense, but you know what? They don't have the kind of offense that can really kill the Giants. They just don't. They don't have a breakout receiver that can go out there and annihilate the Giants secondary, which everybody seems to be able to do when they go deep. And we'll see about that one. I don't necessarily think that's a locked game for them.
We got some YouTube comments. Bryce Blackwell, Notre Dame over Clemson. I agree with you, Bryce. I also agree with Bryce. He thinks Bama over Oklahoma. Not 50, but they will score on them.
I think they're going to score 50 on Oklahoma.
Harlem Cowboy, if you have number 2 overall pick at quarterback, why would you need a back like Bell? I don't get it. Thought Wentz was like Rodgers and Big Ben.
I'm trying to comprehend what it was, but we got a request from Kyle Kramer asking about some Phillies talk. We got your answer for you in the next hour.
Yeah.
So, in about 10 minutes, we're going to go to break.
We're going to go to baseball.
So
Big.
if you look in the
Big.
YouTube description, Kyle, there is a link for the full show. So around when we get back on the air, around 9:00, I will say
10.
9:05, 9:10, around there, we'll be back talking about Phillies and basically anything else. Phillies, the hot stove. I know there's been action going on with the winter meetings. So
Actually, there hasn't been much
coming
of anything
coming
going
up,
on.
Kyle.
It's the first day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there hasn't much yet.
It's the first
but
day.
we'll see.
Foolish Demon likes the Texans. I love the Texans in the AFC. That defensive, that defense
the
is really
defense,
good.
yeah.
Oh, the Colts gave them one heck of a battle yesterday. That was a
They
big
did.
win for the Colts.
What's the
Yeah.
Colts record? Can they
The
sneak
Colts
in there?
are 7-6
Yeah,
right
they're
now.
7-6
Their
as well.
remaining schedule, they got. All right, they
They have
both
the
got
Cowboys, the
back-to-back
Giants,
home
and the
games,
Giants.
in back-to-back home games, and then they finish the season on the road against Tennessee.
Yeah, they got the Giants and Cowboys. So I figure they're going to beat I think they'll beat the Giants because that's the kind of team the Giants will not beat.
Yeah, they could
No.
easily go 9-7 and make
Yeah,
the
they
playoffs.
could go 9. They could
Yeah.
definitely go 9-7. I think they could beat the Cowboys too. I mean,
And then Baltimore's schedule, they're still in the hunt. They got a home game against Tampa, away against the Chargers, and the home game against Cleveland to wrap up the season.
Yeah,
they
but
could be 2-1.
The Ravens, if the Steelers aren't careful with that loss yesterday, because the Steelers got to play the Patriots this week.
They do.
And the Patriots are not going to be happy.
And they
having
got the
what
Saints
happened.
next week as well.
Oh,
Wait,
boy.
what?
The Steelers have the Pats at home, and then they're at the Superdome.
Oh, so it's their turn to
Against-
get destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
boy.
who's their weeks? What are they?
The Bungles.
All right.
And what could possibly be Marvin Lewis's final
So
game.
that could be. So they're going to be one.
They might
could
not
be
win.
one
The,
and two.
they might not win the North.
They might
Yeah.
not.
Who
Well,
does
they're one-
Baltimore play?
Let me
That's 1 and 2 for the Steelers,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
let me take
yeah,
a look.
I agree.
And then Baltimore, I'm just going to run a hypothetical. Tampa, home against Tampa,
That's a
win.
win.
away against LA Chargers,
That's a loss.
Yeah. That's they could.
and a home game against Cleveland.
That's a win.
Yeah,
So they can be 9-7 as well.
Yeah, I think they could do. Yeah, they could.
And-
they could do 2 out of 3.
And if the
Yeah, but then
Ravens if the Ravens go 2-1,
Steelers-
and the
then
Steelers
the-
go
The
The
Steelers,
Steelers
could
are
be
gonna be-
8-7-1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the Steelers would be 8-7-1, and Baltimore, assuming that if everything holds up, they'll go
They could be on
9-7,
the outside
and
looking in.
they could win the North with a 9-7 record.
And they could. The Steelers could be the outside team looking in. Oh boy.
Yeah. At 8-7-1.
that would
Would that get their coach fired? Nah, probably
There's,
not.
Probably
there's
not.
your new Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator.
Conklin?
No, Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin.
Tomlin. Oh boy. Yeah.
He'll hold people accountable. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. You know what though? They've only made one. They've only fired. They haven't fired a coach since 1968.
They've had
Yeah.
3 coaches in their franchise
That's-
history.
Since
That's amazing.
1968, they've
Wow.
had 3 coaches.
Unbelievable.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean they don't
They've
fire.
had, they went from Chuck Noll to Bill Cower
And
to
they
Mike
all-
To
Tomlin.
Tomlin.
Yeah, and they all
All
those
without
2 guys.
firing.
None of them fired. They all have resigned. I mean,
Bill Cower went out on top.
Yeah.
yeah.
Super
I mean,
40.
I don't think they're gonna fire Tomlin. To be honest with you,
That'd be foolish. He's
nah,
a
I
great
don't think-
coach.
Yeah, they won't fire him off of that. I mean, this whole season.
They could beat New England this week, and they could beat the Saints. They're good enough to.
I don't think they defensively. I don't think that they can.
The Patriots are not. There's something.
I'm not
missing
talking
there
about
this
the. I'm not talking about the Patriots.
year. Okay, fine.
I'm talking about the Saints.
Oh, Deems.
Okay.
The Patriots. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like the Patriots have their number, but the Saints, they're going to
Well,
get.
the Patriots have a lot of teams.
The second, the Steelers secondary. How are they going to stop the Saints? I mean, I don't see that. Are the Steelers playing on the road in that game, or is that in Pittsburgh?
Against New
believe-
England,
I believe,
No,
New
against
Eng- I
the,
believe
uh,
that's at home. I
it's
believe that's a home game.
It's a home game at Heinz.
Oh, okay. Well, they'll have a shot, but that's
Yeah.
not a really good one. Hopefully, for the Steelers' sake, it'll rain. The field will be muddy. It'll
Yeah.
be a very dreary, dark, windy day.
You just gotta hope the weather is in Pittsburgh's favor.
Yeah.
If not,
They're gonna need. They're gonna. And you know what?
they
If it
need all the
doesn't-
help they can get.
If it rains and it doesn't rain a lot, if I was Pittsburgh, I would have the grounds crew make sure that they put a little extra water on the field to slow them down even more, because that's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
Now, did I hear Connor got hurt yesterday?
Yes.
Connor got hurt.
James Conner did get hurt.
So who's going to be their running back now? Is he going to be able to come back?
They didn't have Connor yesterday. He was inactive. He got hurt against.
Oh, it was last week's game.
Got hurt last week's game.
Who
Okay.
they played.
Pittsburgh was facing.
Or they played the Chargers.
It was the Chargers game.
He might not be good to go. They're saying he hurt his ankle.
Mm.
So who's their starting running back now? Pittsburgh.
Some guy, some rookie.
Oh, God. Well, Pittsburgh always seems to come up with somebody, though.
Let me see.
That's the one thing about their scouting department. It always seems that they're able to throw
Jalen
somebody
Samuels or
Jalen
something
Samuels.
like
Well, he's going to have to become a household name in order for them to be a factor. I mean, they've got two very tough games coming up.
Yeah, and then like your other backup is Stephon Ridley and Trey Edmonds and Roosevelt Nix as your fullback. Good luck with that.
They're going to throw the ball a lot.
Yeah.
that. But you can do on New England.
Yes, you can. That's for sure. Some other games of note yesterday. Yeah, well, actually tonight.
The miracle in Miami.
Yeah, how about that play? That play
Yeah.
was pretty amazing.
Well, I mean, they're a bunch of dopes because they put Gronk in as a safety valve, and he doesn't know how to take an angle or make a tackle.
Right.
If they had a real
Yeah.
defensive player in there,
but how can you
Kenyon
put him
Drake
in there?
doesn't go.
How can you put Gronk in there when they have to go 70 yards? I mean, Tannehill's not throwing the ball 70
No,
yards.
he's had a hurt shoulder all year. This is
Yeah.
why.
Belichick's-
I don't know what he was doing.
Bill Belichick actually made a mistake. How do you like that?
I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, that was a
Oakland beat the Steelers. We talked about that. The Chargers keep on rolling along. Didn't
Yeah.
cover the spread yesterday, but
they did what they had to do.
Patrick Mahomes is something else.
And by the way, the Seahawks in the second quarter right now lead the Vikings 3-0.
Woo!
So just a quick update there.
Wonderful.
But I mean, some of these games. I mean, you have the Colts beating the Texans. Big win for the Colts.
Yeah.
And that's
Big
really. I mean, we could talk about a big win for the Giants yesterday. Another's coming out party for Barkley.
But there's
goes
no
over
there's
1,000
no playoff
yards.
implications there. There's no realistic playoff implications.
No, not really. Not for the Giants. If they beat Tennessee, okay, and things work out for them in their favor on Sunday, you might be able to start talking some playoff implications. But the Giants have to finish 8-8 and then pray. So it's going to be tough. I don't doubt that they couldn't do that the way they're playing right now, but unfortunately they had a terrible first half, so it's going to be tough for them to get to that point.
I agree.
Yep.
I mean, it's at this point. But I'll tell you what, Saquon Barkley, anybody who thinks that Saquon Barkley was a mistake,
Yeah, they're idiots.
get real. Get real. The guy now has over 1,100 yards rushing in 13 games. Now, if you go back to the old school where real good running backs get 1,000 yards in 14 games and not 16, he's already done that. So, I mean, this guy could end up getting 1,500 yards rushing in his first year and probably over 500 yards receiving. That's a pretty darn good year.
All right, let's take a break.
All right.
Talk some baseball
Get some music
exclusively
going.
on YouTube, HUD Sports Hounds. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
A2D Radio back for the second hour live. Mount Ephraim, New Jersey, Real Talk Studios. Sports Hounds with you till 10 o'clock. Covered the NFL, covered the Eagles. Obviously, that stuff's still on the table. We had a Sixers game. Sixers are up 10. About 6 minutes to go in the game. We'll keep you updated on that. Looks like they have it in hand, but they've been known to let up some late leads. Pistons not a terrible team. Jimmy Butler did get hurt tonight. A groin injury. He did leave the game. He did not return. So
Ow, my balls.
That's certainly something to keep our eye on over the next couple days.
Okay, Beavis.
I can't.
Damn it, Beavis.
I can't. All joking. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But
That was good.
I can't take more turmoil this week with Jimmy Butler being out for an extended period of time. Hopefully they're just being careful and he's fine. I can't deal with that. So we're going to hope for the best there. Hopefully they now 97-85. But Brad, the winter meeting started today in Las Vegas.
Woohoo.
Boy, the rumors are flying.
Rumors are flying. It's only the first day. I expect a lot of activity. There's a
Well,
lot
couple-
of good players on the
couple of-
free agent market. There's a
couple
lot
of
of
minor-
good players.
A couple of minor notes. It looks like the Royals are going to grab Billy Hamilton. So that's,
I don't understand why the Reds
Really?
didn't trade
Yeah.
him.
Wow.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Reds just outright cut Billy
Yeah.
Hamilton. They
He-
could have easily gotten
Jeez.
some low-level prospect.
Yeah, Minnesota. It really looks like
Looks like they're
they
going to
want
get.
to make some moves.
Looks
I
like
think
they're
they
gonna
got
get
Tyson
Wilson.
Ross, right?
They did get Tyson Ross.
So
Wow.
they got him, and they're talking
They
a lot
are.
of guys.
The Minnesota Twins are also reportedly in on Wilson Ramos, who
Yeah,
doesn't look
and
like
by the
doesn't look
way,
like the
I
much
have-
to my dismay. The Phillies don't look like they're going to resign Wilson Ramos.
I am not buying
that
Edwin
information according
Encarnacion.
to Corey Seidman on.
I'm not buying
NBC
Edwin
Sports Philly.
Encarnacion to Tampa Bay. I'm not buying that.
I am buying Nelson Cruz to Tampa Bay though.
I heard Nelson Cruz to
Linked to the Astros as well.
Nelson Cruz has also been linked to the Twins as well. Also,
So the Twins are trying to do some.
Twins
stuff.
are the Twins obviously are going to spend a few bucks. It should be real interesting this year. Now I heard today Cashman of the Yankees talking about Machado and Harper, and he's really not. Doesn't sound like the Yankees have any interest in Harper.
But why would they have interest in Harper?
They don't really need Harper.
They need pitching. Yankees need pitching.
They
Oh,
are
boy.
interested in Machado
The
though.
Phillies need Harper because their
Yeah.
outfield stinks.
As of right now, that Bryce Harper is expected to meet with the Phillies sometime this week.
Yeah, I would
So,
say that
so there's no meeting with the Nationals, and
He's not
also
going back.
Machado is also meeting with the Phillies as well this week. So please, Matty, get the deal done. Get them both done.
Well, it seems like that the market for Machado is cool, according to the Jason Starks, the John Heymans of the world, because it seems like his playoff antics have driven his price down. That could be very convenient for the Philadelphia Phillies or the Chicago White Sox to grab both Harper or Machado.
I don't see anybody spending that much money on both guys because it's too much money for two players. I think the White Sox, I could see the White Sox trying to get Harper just to kick the rebuild off. But I mean, both Harper and Machado, that's a lot of money for two players. I mean, you're talking minimum $650.
But the Phillies have the money.
Yeah.
$700 million.
The White Sox should have the money. That's a big market as well.
I understand. That's still a lot of money.
Big
for
market
guys,
for a
though.
team that's in desperation mode right now to get.
I like the
something
White
going
Sox
on.
young players a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
lot.
but I
They
think
need
I think
some
they're
veteran
still,
help.
They're still a year away though.
Not if they get one of those players or both of those players.
Well, if they get both of them, yes. But this season, I don't see the White Sox being any kind of a factor this season. Not yet.
I don't know if I agree. We'll see what they do.
Well, they won 67 games last year.
Yes, but they're going to get better. They'll
get better.
They're
but
going to get exponentially better as their players get
I think
seasoning.
75 to 80 wins.
Eloy Jimenez is going to come up, and he's a stud.
Maybe 75 to 80
it's only a matter of
wins,
time
though.
before Johan Moncada just pops. Jose Abreu is a perennial guy.
Is he going to get traded though?
I guess we'll have to see this week.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be trying to trade Jose
No.
Abreu if I'm the White Sox.
I mean, I've also heard that the White Sox are in on Nelson Cruz
Okay.
and Edwin Encarnacion. The Indians making a lot of
Yeah, it
noise.
looks like they're going to trade a starter.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like either Bauer or Kluber are going to go. And I'll tell you what, as a Yankee fan, boy, I would love to get Bauer. Bauer just seems like such a student of the game.
Phillies need a lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phillies need a lefty.
Hap would be a perfect fit.
It looks like
Hap proved that he could pitch last year in New York, so I would say that if he could pitch in New York, I don't see any reason why he can't pitch in Philly.
Yeah, he can pitch anywhere.
Yeah,
and he's going to cost
he's
you
a solid
3
pitcher.
years.
Yeah, he's going to want 3 years and $50 million.
40. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
But
he's
whatever.
going to want 3 years. Listen, you're going to overpay, and that's the nature of free agency.
And then of course Patrick Corbin gets the monster 6-year,
Yeah.
140 deal.
Well, I would have passed on him.
Yeah, that's
So
6
$140
years.
million. It's 6 years for him.
No.
No, I'm sorry.
He's only pitched like a $23 million pitcher
He's-
once in his career,
he's
and that
two
was
games-
last year.
He's 2 games over 500 for his career. And let's not forget.
I agree with you. I'm not heartbroken the Phillies didn't get Patrick.
No,
Corbin.
and I'm not
Me neither.
heartbroken. The Yankees didn't get him either. And I'll tell you what.
But it's another year for me to laugh at with the playoff
Here's
misery
my
of the
problem.
Nationals.
Here's my problem with
typical
here's my
Nationals.
problem with Patrick Corbin. Okay, eight of his appearances last year came against the Giants and the Padres, who were probably the 2 worst hitting teams in baseball. Okay, so I mean, now he's going to be in the American League, and he's going to have to be facing.
Who?
I'm sorry, no, he's not going to be in the. He's going to be in the
Who you talking
National League
about?
East. Corbin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's going to be in the
It's not
National League
it's not
East.
the American League.
But the National League East has overall is going to have better offensive teams than the National League West did. Yeah, this year.
I guess.
I mean, you have to look at it.
You had the Marlins who stink, the Phillies who couldn't score runs, the Mets
But the
who
Phillies are
couldn't
going to.
score
But the
runs.
Phillies are going to be better this year.
I understand. So are the Mets.
The Mets are going to be better. Okay. But all that money for
lot
those
of
guys.
noise with the Mets getting
And the
Pollock.
Braves can hit.
Yes.
The Mets made a nice move. I like that move as far as the Mets.
I thought
are
that was a
concerned.
spectacular trade for the New York Mets.
to get Diaz and Cano.
Because
Nice
they
moves.
can put Cano at first, and have McNeil at second.
Or they could put McNeil at third and try to trade Todd Frazier.
Not a bad idea either, because I'm not a Todd Frazier guy at all. But Robinson Cano is going to have to go to first base at some point. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but it may not necessarily be this year.
That's fine. But they have him for 3 years at $25 million a year.
Actually, they have him for 5 years.
5 years, excuse
Yeah.
me.
They're going to get.
So-
Eventually, he will be at first base. But the Mets are going to try Peter Alonso at first base, who
Yeah, I
was
like Peter Alonso.
big time hitter in the minors.
He hit a bomb in the Futures game last year.
Yeah,
he hit it out of the stadium.
He's a big time prospect, so I would expect that he's going to be playing first for them. That's why I think Cano is going to be at
Bryce
second.
Blackwell. I heard the White Sox got money. Yeah, the White Sox are going to try and make a splash. We'll see if it works out for them. I like their young talent. I mean,
keep in mind though. I mean, these young players that Bryce Harper and Manny Machado are what 25, 26 years old.
They're both 26.
That's a big factor because you get these guys.
I want Bryce Harper in Philadelphia because I think the Phillies outfield completely blows.
I think the Phillies are in desperate need of a star right now to go with Rhys Hoskins. I mean, it has to happen, and they have to get another starting pitcher. I think those are the two keys for the Phillies. If you want them to win the division and you want them to try to get through a playoff series, this has to happen. They've got to go out. They've got to improve their starting pitching. They've got to improve their bullpen, obviously, and try to bring in a Bryce Harper. This is an opportunity for them. If the Yankees aren't going to sign Bryce Harper and the Red Sox aren't going to sign Bryce Harper, I don't know how interested the Dodgers are in Bryce Harper. Who else really out there can afford him? It sounds to me
the
like
Dodgers, the Cubs.
I mean, the Cubs.
Ken Rosenthal said Bryce Harper is either going to go to the White Sox, the Dodgers, or the Phillies.
Yeah,
he's pretty good.
I think
so
he's going to end up with the Phillies. I just think the
love
Phillies.
it.
I think the Phillies will offer the most money, and I think he'd be a perfect fit in Philly because he can hit a home run into any part of that ballpark. I think that would be the answer for them. They're going to still need to get a relief pitcher, and there are some pretty good closers out there, Rob. You got guys like Zach Britton, David Robertson, Jeurys Familia. I mean, there are guys out there, Craig Kimbrell. There are guys out there who would definitely.
Craig Kimbrell says he wants 6 years.
Craig Kimbrell is not going to get 6 years.
Why would he give his?
But he can try. I mean, it's
I ask for whatever. I ask for stuff all the time.
Yeah,
I don't get
I mean, listen. In the middle of February, when he's unsigned, he'll sign for 5 years, and he'll get a 3-year option.
Yeah, I'm not giving. I'm out. I don't want him.
Yeah, but there are a lot of closers.
If you're gonna give
a
closer that kind of money, that means you're one player away. Even if the Phillies get Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, both, Brantley, whatever.
What about a guy like Adam Ottavino from Colorado?
He's a little older, but yeah.
And I heard the Red Sox are making a serious push for him.
Not as a closer, but as a setup man.
Yeah.
You Andrew Miller. I mean, there are a lot of relievers. There are a lot of relievers out there who can help you.
Yes, Bryce Blackwell makes a great point. The Phillies traded Luis Garcia for what was this bum from the Angels?
Alvarez?
Yes. Luis Garcia is terrible, Brad. He's been terrible since 2015.
Okay.
They trotted him out there. It's
Alvarez isn't really
Kyle Kramer wants Corey Kluber. I'd be careful trading Kluber. The thing that makes
Corey
it no
Kluber in the National League would be dynamite though. Oh man.
The thing with the Phillies getting Kluber though is I don't think any of our prospects are any good.
Do you have prospects that are? I mean,
yes.
Sixto Sanchez.
Sixto, Adonis Medina, Adam Hasley.
Listen, if you want Kluber,
Mickey Moniak.
If you want Kluber, you're probably going to have to take Jason Kipnis. That's what I keep
take a look
hearing.
at the Phillies top 30.
If you take Jason Kipnis, then you don't have to.
Then I'm not doing
give up
it.
anybody.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Let me see.
I don't want to. Where does Jason Kipnis play on this team?
I don't know, second base or center fielders are his two positions, and
no.
he's one of these guys that he's left-handed. He strikes out a lot. He hits a lot of home runs and strikes out a lot.
Yeah, I'm good on Jason Kipnis. I would trade every single prospect in the farm system for Madison Bumgarner and sign Bryce Harper.
All right, so
yeah, I'm with you about that one.
very interesting.
Madison Bumgarner.
Top 10.
He'd be. I just don't
He's excellent.
think the Giants are seriously going to trade him. I mean, I keep hearing, he's available, but you know what? I'll believe it when I see it.
You need a lefty. Kyle Kramer wants Kluber. You need a lefty.
Yeah, but if you get a big time pitcher like Kluber or Trevor Bauer, you're.
I need a lefty before.
Well, you could sign Happ. or Keuchel.
We have had that guy for years. Kyle Kramer says. Had who for years? I don't understand.
Who, J. Happ? You had him 10 years ago. And he's a significantly better pitcher now than he was 10 years ago.
He was.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
J. Happ seems to be like wine. He seems to age really well.
And, I'm not the biggest Keuchel guy either. That's why I'm looking for a trade. I need a lefty. I need a left-handed starting pitcher.
You don't like Keuchel?
Yeah.
Boy, I think he's – see, I think he'd be an excellent fit in Philly.
What's he going to cost? I need to get my Harper or Machado first.
Okay. Well, I think you're going to get Harper. I don't know that you're going to get Machado. I think the Yankees are serious on Machado. I could see.
I'd watch out
Harper.
if the market really is cooled on Machado, like some of the insiders are reporting because of his playoff antics. I'd watch out for the Cardinals. They're clearly all in. They traded a bunch of average players, in my opinion, for Paul Goldschmidt.
They can afford it. They can't afford it. Well, I'll tell you
I know
what,
they're not a traditional. They're not, but that's a team I would keep an eye on.
Well, they're gonna
for
They're
Machado.
gonna have Goldschmidt. They're gonna have Goldschmidt sitting in the middle of their order.
Who's a stud?
Who's outstanding?
Fantastic player.
I would look for a bounce back year from some of their other veterans.
Ozuna will be better.
Ozuna will be better. I think DeYoung will be better.
I agree. I think Fowler's kind of cooked.
Yeah, but I would look for a big bounce back from Ozuna. I think that last year, for whatever reason, him being the center point and the focal point of the
Miles
offense
Mikolas
just
was
didn't work.
an excellent signing.
Yeah,
He was very good last year.
he's a good pitcher, real good, and I think St. Louis had a pretty good staff. I mean, obviously losing Waka in the middle of the season,
That sucked.
was a tough loss for them, but. That's a team that could easily sneak in and win that division.
Yadier Molina seems to just keep on ticking.
They're one of those teams. They just need to make the right moves, and if they can find some extra money, and St. Louis is by no means.
I think the Cardinals got another move up their sleeves. Whether they sign Keuchel or get Machado, I think Harper's going to be out of their price range.
Keuchel seems to me like a Cardinals type of player.
You might be right.
Don't you think? He seems to me like a Cardinals type of pitcher. Oh boy, I think he'd look good.
We need a Kyle Kramer. Why do we have to have a lefty? Because we haven't had a lefty starting pitcher of any significance since we traded Cole Hamels in 2016. You need balance in the rotation. And he says fix the bullpen. I agree with that as well.
Well, you have to do both. It's not just.
Well, you're already off to a great start because you got a significant upgrade at shortstop.
Absolutely.
Excellent trade.
The only thing I don't like about Segura is where do you bat him? Because he's not really a leadoff
From
hitter.
what I've heard around the good old Twitterverse is that good old Gabe.
Where are you going to hit him? That's my question.
He said, according to Matt Breen, with a nice little blue check mark on Twitter,
That's
says
how you
Gabe
know.
Kapler said he would like to bat Gene Segura second in 2019.
Okay.
He then called Scott Kingery after the trade to tell Kingery he will continue to move around the diamond the way he did last season.
So you're going to bat Segura, who basically has a lifetime on-base percentage of about .334, and you're going to bat him second? The most walks he's ever had was like 60.
He's our best every day. Well, Hoskins is not going to bat second.
I'm just. I think he might be.
No, because they're going to
He
bat.
might be better.
They're going to bat Roman Quinn. They should bat Roman Quinn first, Gene Segura second.
I agree with that.
And Cesar Hernandez ninth.
Okay.
And hit the pitcher.
And then
eighth.
have Reese
Hoskins
clean up.
hit behind.
Hoskins would be
Okay.
my 3-hitter. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then hopefully you got
A guy
I mean,
like
listen,
Harper and Manning.
Anybody who can hit 300, obviously can hit anywhere in the lineup. I think he's going to hit for more power.
I would
in
also
Philadelphia.
I would also be
for
talking
sure.
to the Detroit Tigers every day until they traded me Nick Castellanos.
Yeah, they sound like they're serious about getting rid of him
They
this
stink.
time.
The Tigers are a terrible team.
Oh, they are.
They're awful.
They are. I'm just not sure why are they so determined to trade Nick Castellanos?
I don't know because they're not going to pay him. They don't seem interested in paying him.
But why not, though? They're not. Other than Miguel Cabrera, who are they paying now?
I think they're stripping it down. You know?
Boy, they're stripping it down to the bare minimum,
Yeah.
though. I mean,
Not as bad as the Orioles. The Orioles still don't have a manager.
yeah. Well, that's.
Oh,
Yeah, the
that's a
Orioles
nice
are gonna
dunk.
have a hard time.
The Sixers have pulled away significantly. They're up
Nice.
16 points.
There we
with 50
go.
Yeah, this game's over.
55 seconds to go.
Clap your hands, everybody, for Philadelphia.
Let's see if we can get some-
76ers.
David
Woohoo.
Rosca thinks the Angels are
Yeah,
going to
David
get bummed.
Rosca.
David,
David.
who are the Angels going to give up for Bumgarner? They have the worst minor league
Well, they have
system
a guy named Joey.
in baseball.
They have a guy named Joey Adele who's a stud.
but they
Yeah,
have,
but that's one guy,
that's
though.
one guy. They have the worst minor league system in baseball. Ranked
It-
MLB.com ranked them
Like, even
number 31.
when I used to work in minor league baseball, the Angel system was bad back then, and that was back in 2007.
They don't have a farm system.
There's no farm system.
No, there is none. And every one of their pitchers always seems to get hurt all the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think the Angels are in any shape to do any of that. I think the Angels at this point, I mean, if I were them, I'd be looking to try to get younger at this point because they're old.
Yeah.
They're old, and they've got some contracts that they have to move. And eventually, Mike Trout's going to end up here.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a foregone conclusion.
Pretty much.
At some point, he's gonna end up here.
Yeah, but I don't want the Phillies to go into this offseason saying, okay, that's fine, we're not getting anybody because Trout's automatic, because that you can't assume.
No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
I've seen more incompetent things done.
See,
in my
what
life.
I could see the Phillies doing, and maybe you think I'm nuts to say this, but I don't know that they're going to be all in on Manny Machado. I think that they might just wait for Nolan Arenado the next year from
Nolan
from
Arenado
Colorado.
is not going to hit the open market. Why would he hit the open market?
He hasn't signed with them yet, and they've been offering him
Okay.
contracts.
Well, he's going to get traded before they let him walk.
Who, Arenado?
Yes.
Okay, but even if he gets traded, he could still become a free agent. I mean, he's a possibility as a free agent as well. So you never know. All I'm saying is, if I'm the Phillies and I'm spending my money, yes, you definitely want to get Harper. You need a Bryce Harper, but I still would concentrate on fixing the holes in your rotation. I think that's more important. If you can have Segura, Harper, and Hoskins going back to back, wow. Nice lineup.
Buster only
enough
reporting
runs.
that the Tampa Bay Rays are serious about adding Encarnacion.
How in the
That'd be
world
interesting.
are they going to pay for him?
Rosca.
Well, the Indians are gonna have to give them money.
Harper to
A
the
lot of
Halos.
Probably.
A lot of
Rosca,
money.
are you kidding me right now?
What did he say?
Trout is staying with the Angels and Harper to the Halos. Rosca.
I mean,
Oh,
he's,
stop.
Really?
Stop.
Rosca.
he's not being intelligent. He's being an
He's
Angels
being
fan.
a fan.
He's
and
being-
that's
he-
fine.
Which
Which-
is
but-
fine, but
Yeah.
I mean,
We love your fandom for the LA teams, Rosca, but
I don't
come
see
on,
that.
that's a little crazy right there.
Yeah, I don't see the Angels have no pitching at all right now.
Yeah.
None. I mean, they've got to go out and they've got to get themselves some pitching. So, I mean, if the Angels truly want to try to make an impact, they've got to go get some pitching, and they're still paying Albert Pujols that ridiculous contract that they signed him to many moons ago. When is his contract up, by the way?
Who?
Pujols.
Pujols?
Does he have another? He must have another.
I know he's got
3 years to go. He's got to have at least another 3 years.
I know
right?
it's a huge contract.
That was a 10-year deal. And boy, I tell you, those 10-year deals, they always come back to haunt you.
10 years,
They're
240.
stupid.
Yep. And he is in the middle of his contract won't expire until 2022.
Okay, so he's got
So he's got
three
3 years left with a
No,
full
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So
Becomes a UFA at the age of 42 in 2022.
yeah, that's an albatross contract.
Whew. Wow.
You're paying him and you're paying Trout. How much more money can you really spend on a superstar when you got those two guys locked in? I mean, the Angels aren't the kind of team that's going to go out there and go over the luxury tax. So I don't see that happening.
And it's going to get more expensive over the course of the next couple years.
All right.
Yep.
I gotta get your thoughts on. There are two additions to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. They're both before my time.
Okay.
They're both before my time. You saw them both play, and I did.
One I am fine with.
I looked up one of their stats, and I don't get it.
Lee Arthur.
What
Lee
is
Arthur
Hall of
Smith,
Fame?
Lee Arthur Smith is a Hall of Fame relief pitcher.
Okay.
I have no issues with him. He was as intimidating and scary a guy as you would ever want to face. I mean,
why? That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to defer to your expertise on that
I
because
love
you
Lee
watched
Smith.
them play.
I have
You're
no
older
problem.
than me.
I have no problem with Lee Smith, but Harold Baines?
Harold Baines.
Why is he in the Hall of Fame? Am I missing something? Was he like what?
No.
What?
Harold Baines never hit 30 home runs. He had a 289 lifetime
Hold on.
average.
I'm gonna bring up.
I'll pull up the BR as well.
I don't think he
What's
made
my
the
favorite
All-Star
website,
game.
Frank?
BR.
BaseballReference.com. I cannot go 2
My-
hours without going on
My guess
BaseballReference.com
my guess
during
is
the
he
Sports
didn't make the
Hounds.
All-Star team more than 3 or 4 times.
Hold on,
in his
hold
career.
on,
Let's
hold
see.
on, hold on now. No, Frank, you're not allowed on BaseballReference.com. It's my thing.
Oh, man.
Yeah, stay in the shadows, bro.
Oh,
Damn.
boy.
The rules.
Oh.
Damn it.
Okay, Kyle Kramer. What about Gio Gonzalez?
Yeah, that doesn't do anything for me.
No,
Gio
no
Gonzalez stinks.
I just like looking.
Okay,
He was
this guy.
horrible.
Okay, he was a 6-time All-Star, Brad. He
6.
was.
Okay. Never hit 30 home runs. 289
See, now
lifetime
I'm a big 162 game
Did he-
average guy.
Yeah.
Did he ever be was he ever an MVP? No.
That's incorrect. No, you're correct. He was not an MVP.
Okay. Did he ever
Right.
lead the league in anything?
Leaderboards.
In anything? In anything? Any statistic?
Let me look at his.
Because I'm going to say no.
Probably not. It doesn't look like it based on his,
It's not like he ever led
based
the
on
league
his
in
stats right
It's
here.
not like he ever led
I
the
don't
league
understand
in
it.
doubles.
He must be a really nice guy to get in the Hall of Fame with these fucking stats.
I mean, Harold Baines.
Harold Baines.
It's a joke.
Harold
How can you not be
Baines.
Harold Baines.
Harold
Tom Arnaud should be in the Hall of Fame. Instead of Harold Baines.
Let's see the
Harold
highest he
Baines.
was at from being in the leaderboard. I'm looking at this on BR when he was the oldest active player at the time, and that was in 2001. That's the only thing I see him as
All right,
first
so-
in.
so-
But
How many times did he have 100 RBIs, Rob?
1, 2, 3 times. High
Yep.
90s.
3 times?
handful of times.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. To me, 100 RBIs is where you draw the line of having a Hall of Fame type season.
All right,
okay?
you gotta remember it. You have to take his counting stats with a grain of salt because he played for 22
22
years.
years, which is impressive.
I mean,
Give him that.
289 career
So-
average,
A
356
lot of
on base
A lot of guys
percentage.
played a lot of years. That doesn't make them Hall of Famers.
I don't
Yeah.
understand why this guy.
I mean, if Harold Baines is a Hall of Famer, you might as well induct Will Clark.
Listen, if Harold Baines is a Hall of Famer, then Bernie Williams needs to be a Hall of Famer. Okay, and
see, this
so
is
does
why I
Don
hate this
Mattingly.
because it opens up
And so
it
does-
opens
so
up
does
Pandora's
Thurman-
box.
So does Thurman Munson.
And my boy,
okay?
my boy Mike Mussina is not in the Hall of Fame.
And
Mike
Edgar
Mussina,
Martinez,
yeah.
short of the Hall of Fame once again.
No, Edgar Martinez is not a Hall of Famer.
He was a great hitter, though.
That's another problem I have with Harold Baines. He spent too much time at DH.
You know, Harold Baines is not a Hall of Famer. That is a pathetic joke.
He must have been a really nice guy to get all
I
them votes.
don't get it.
I bet
mean,
he
he
has
was-
like dirty pictures of the
He was a nice
Veterans Committee
He was a nice
to
left-handed
persuade them.
nice left-handed hitter. Maybe it's just that the White Sox don't have a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame. I mean, could that be it? I mean, maybe Maybe Nellie Fox is in the Hall of Fame, right?
All right, here this is
there's a
according
few
to
guys.
John Heyman. Yankees are pursuing Manny Machado, but they have other infield options: Marlon Gonzalez, Josh Harrison,
I
and
told you that.
Scooter
With-
Gannett.
Yeah.
Scooter Jeanette.
Scooter Jeanette might be traded for
Scooter.
Sonny Gray. That's the
I've read that.
that's the hot rumor.
That'll
that
be a
I've
good
heard.
trade. Sonny Gray will do well there. He
Yeah, I
can't
think
pitch in the big market. He's not cut out for it.
No. He was very good on the road this year.
The Billy Hamilton.
Billy Hamilton is going to sign with the Royals.
That is official.
It is official now. Okay.
The
Harold Baines.
The Orioles don't
Harold
even have a
Baines.
manager.
Harold Baines is a disgrace. That's a disgrace that he's in the Hall of
I'm
Fame.
not a fan of it.
He's good.
Kyle Kramer, Baines was close. Okay, I defer to Brad here. He his last year was 2001. I don't really
Yeah.
remember the guy. If a sports
He was
nerd
a-
like me doesn't really remember the guy, then he probably should be in the Hall
He
of
was
Fame.
he was a good.
He was a good player.
He wasn't. When you talk about the Hall of Very Good, because sometimes the Hall of Fame has been accused of taking Hall of Very Good. Now you're going down to the Hall of Good. I mean, come on. You got Harold Baines. Harold, freaking listen. I'm going to give you Bernie Williams, okay, and I'm going to give you some stats here, okay. Bernie Williams. Let's see, lifetime batting average 297, okay.
Who's this?
Bernie Williams, okay, and that's because his last 3 or 4 years he wasn't very good. But in his prime, from 1995 to 2002, okay,
It's only 7 years.
307,
He's not a Hall of Famer.
305, 328, 339
Not
won
a
a
Hall of
batting
Famer.
title, 342, 307, 307, 333. That's pretty daggone good. That's better than Harold Baines ever did.
Good.
Come
Can't
on.
dispute that, but
Yeah.
a 7-year prime isn't enough for a Hall of
Well,
Fame
no, I'm just. But
consideration.
his seven best years were all 300. Were
Okay,
all
then
high
let's put
300
Ryan
seasons.
Ryan Howard's in the Hall of Fame then.
Well, Ryan Howard hit a lot of home runs. Plus, Bernie Williams, how many championships did he win? And how good was he in the playoffs?
Harold Baines.
Yeah, he checks some of the boxes for sure, but I'm sorry, a 7-year
I mean,
prime
he won-
does
Yeah.
not
he won-
qualify
He won
you.
four championships.
Mm.
You know, I mean, he. I don't know how many Gold Gloves he won. I have to check to see. He won 4 Gold Gloves. Okay, I don't see how many. I don't see any Gold Gloves for Harold Baines.
No, because he spent too much time. in
No
DH.
gold. Yeah,
'cause he
he
was
was
too
he was
busy.
primarily a DH.
He was too busy being a DH.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me with that stuff?
He only had like a Silver Slugger award in '89,
Yeah,
and he's
I
in the
mean,
Baltimore Orioles Hall of Fame. And his number 3 was retired. Nothing else stands out for Harold Baines.
Yeah, that's
Like I said, he must be a really nice guy to be able to get all them votes.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Bernie Williams,
And
let's see,
Mike
100
Mussina,
RBI.
the fact that Mike Mussina is not in the Hall of Fame is an absolute travesty. That guy is a Hall of Famer.
Oh, by the way, 100 RBI seasons for Bernie Williams. He had 5 of them.
So he had more than Harold
More than
Baines
Harold
in less
Baines.
seasons.
Harold
Right.
Baines.
Yes, but
Bernie played 16 years.
Yeah, even all
Okay.
baseball Twitter's so confused by it.
I mean, it's just that's a joke. Come on. I mean, that and in 16 years, by the way, in 16 years he only struck out 1,200 times, which is not terrible. Never struck out. He struck out over 100 times one time in his whole career.
Sixers have officially won, by the way.
Woohoo!
16-point win at home.
Nice job.
We are watching the Twitter and the social media for Jimmy Butler updates. He did leave the game with a groin injury tonight. He did not return. So something.
Ow, my balls.
By the way, okay, Beavis. By the way, I want to mention this because I think this also bears with Bernie Williams. Okay, Bernie Williams postseason stats. Okay, and yes, I know he was in the postseason almost every year, but his lifetime batting
Yeah,
average.
but the Yankees were in the postseason every year because Bernie Williams
Right.
was good.
Yeah.
But his lifetime batting average in postseason was 275. His on base percentage in postseason 371. His slugging 480. He hit. Let's see. He had 22 home runs and 80 RBIs in the postseason. Okay, he had 128 hits, 29 doubles, 22 homers, 80 RBIs. I mean, seriously,
we get
Harold
it. He was
Baines-
good. He was good.
If Harold Baines is a Hall of Famer, then this guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer. And you know what?
But you
honestly,
can't do it
Alright.
like that, Brad.
But honestly, I don't even think Bernie really is a Hall of Famer.
All right.
I agree with you because his prime wasn't.
But it's still
long
better.
enough.
But it's still better than Harold Baines.
Well, maybe Bernie Williams will,
And Bernie
get
was
the
a
first-
switch hitter, by the way.
Yeah.
Just a little, with 5 championships.
really-
No, 4 championships. I mean that's Harold Baines is ridiculous. If you're
Man.
gonna pick a White Sox, why not Paul Konerko?
He'll be eligible soon. I know that.
Stop.
He'll be eligible.
Are you kidding
Paul
me?
Konerko was
Jeez.
a pretty good player.
Man.
See, this is why I hate when Hall of Fames do stuff like this because then
When they make idiots out of themselves.
every guy that's had any decent 5-year stretch is, what about him? What about this guy?
yeah.
No. If we have to debate it, then you're not a
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Okay, I'm gonna look up Paul.
And the Baseball Hall of Fame is the one I rely on to be sensible and have
Right.
a sense of decorum about itself.
Okay, Rob, Paul Konerko. You want to take a guess at how many home runs he hit in his career?
400.
Who? Harold Baines?
No, Paul Konerko.
Konerko? I would say he hit about. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rob. I'll go with 400 as well.
439 home runs.
That's a lot of home runs.
Yeah. Hit 41 home runs in 2004.
How many seasons did he play?
18 years.
Okay.
All with
His
Chicago, right?
106 No, a couple of
he
years with
bounced
the
around.
Dodgers.
He bounced around a little bit.
Konerko?
But his 100, and I know
Oh,
you
yeah,
love
that's
this
right.
statistic, Rob. His 162 game average, 30 home runs, 97 RBIs, 279 lifetime batting average.
Forgot he was a Dodger.
He
Konerko.
was real good. I mean, boy, oh boy. I mean, you can't even. He got a lot of walks. I mean, he was he's more. Listen, this guy is a Hall of Famer. Is a heck of a lot more of a Hall of Famer than Harold Baines. I mean, come on.
I agree with you.
1,300 and wait a minute. I'm sorry. 1,412 RBIs lifetime in 18 years. So I mean, as I said, he averaged 97 RBIs a season. That's pretty daggone good. As I said, if the White Sox needed representation, you had to put a White Sox in the Hall of Fame.
But why
That's
does
the guy that should've been in
shit
there.
like that matter?
I don't know. Maybe somebody. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
The White Sox petition the Hall of Fame, say we don't got. Well, maybe you should pick better players.
Maybe there should be better players on their team. I mean, what Bill Melton?
I wasn't.
Bill Melton just wasn't good long enough, and Richie
Frank
Allen.
Thomas is in the Hall of Fame. He
Yeah,
was
that's
a
true.
stud.
Richie Allen didn't play there
Jim
long enough.
Let's see. I'm trying to look. I'm looking at all their Hall of Famers right now. I mean,
The what? Nellie Fox.
yes.
Okay, he's one, but I mean,
Yeah.
they're just.
It's
they're
an
just weren't
okay
that-
looking.
I mean, the problem is a lot of
Yeah.
all the Black Sox from 1919
Well,
are
they're kicked
banned.
out.
They're all kicked out.
Yeah, they're banned, so they
Yeah.
can't be. And there were a bunch of Walsh and Sisiot
Yeah.
and Ted
Shoeless,
Lyons and Shoeless Joe Jackson. They all would have been Hall of
Yeah.
Famers.
Eddie
but,
Seacott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, was that how you pronounced it? Sisiot, Seacott. Okay.
Seacott.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know who they are, but I mean,
Wow.
I never
Just look
saw
at
them
all of
play.
them.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
statistically, they were all right there.
Mm.
But I mean, the White Sox just never had a lot of good players.
Was that curse? Is that Black Sox curse?
Yeah, and Wilbur Wood. Sorry, he wasn't a Hall of Fame. He may have been a Hall of Famer when he pitched against the Yankees because the Yankees couldn't touch him. But but Wilbur Wood. I think Wilbur Wood won as many games as he lost. I should look up Wilbur Wood just for the hell of it because I am now that raised my my curiosity. Okay, Wilbur Wood.
I just
Wilbur-
like how much of a can of worms has opened up for
for
Harold bleeping Baines.
yeah.
Right.
It's
Because
hilarious.
now
Yeah.
players who are not Hall of Fame worthy are going to get discussed for the Hall of Fame,
Right.
and it just makes me mad. And the football Hall of Fame is completely broken because you can only get 5 people in.
Yeah.
I'm like, Isaac Bruce isn't in the Hall of Fame.
You know, Wilbur Wood.
It's a complete travesty.
Wilbur
He's top
Wood is
10 in
more-
touchdowns
Yeah.
and yards, and
Wilbur
he's not
Wood
in the Hall
is
of
more
Fame.
of a Hall of Famer
Makes no sense.
than Harold Baines. As a pitcher, Wilbur Wood had 3 20-game winning seasons. He was 164 and 156 for some really crappy teams. But it's crazy though. You look at some of his records. 1972, he was 24 and 17. Talk about a guy who finished he was a knuckleball pitcher. 73, I think he's the only pitcher in history that did this. In 1973, he was 24 and 20.
Jeez.
74, he was 20 and 19. And in 75, he was 16 and 20. But in 71, which was his best year, 22 and 13 with a 1.91 ERA. Pitched 44 games, 42 starts. He had 22 complete games, 7 shutouts. That was a pretty good year for him.
Does Roy Halladay? He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, correct?
Yes.
He better be.
As is Mariano Rivera.
Better be.
Mm-hmm.
Roy Halladay. Now there's a guy who had some. There's a guy who was well deserved as a Hall of Fame player. But I don't know who picks these guys, and
Baseball Writers of America.
Well, the Baseball Writers of America. Shame on you. Also, why is George Steinbrenner not in the Hall of Fame? Do they really have a problem with George Steinbrenner? Was it because he got suspended in '89? Is that the?
What did he get suspended for again?
He was suspended because he was hanging out with a known gambler named Howie Spira. So he got suspended for 2 years, and it was actually because of those 2 years. Gene Michael then ran the team without his interference, and Gene Michael went and drafted Bernie Williams, and he was instrumental in the trade for Paul O'Neill.
Yeah.
And basically, it was his idea to go out and get Jimmy Key. And basically,
sounds like
Gene Michael
it was a
built all those
blessing.
players.
It sounds like it was a blessing in disguise.
Oh, it absolutely was a blessing in disguise. Because
he was a loose cannon in the 80s.
Back then, George didn't understand that you had to get pitching in order to win and not hitting. Because the Yankees at one point had Dave Winfield, Ricky Henderson, Don Mattingly, and Don Baylor on their team, and Willie Randolph as their top hitters, and they never won anything with that team because they had no pitching except for Guidry. I mean, unfortunately, and then when George was out, that's when Gene Michael went to work, was probably the greatest scout they ever had, and brought in some unbelievable players, and that's why they ended up winning. And the Yankees back then didn't need to go out and sign a lot of free agents because of the guys they had were real good players.
Kyle
Derek
Kramer.
Jeter,
back
Derek
to
Jeter
the
also.
modern day winter meeting stuff. As much as fun as I have debating Hall of Fame, because baseball Hall of Fame cases are a lot of fun to me. Kyle Kramer brings up an interesting name for the Phillies. I'm assuming Danny Duffy.
I think Danny Duffy would be a nice piece. He did get whacked around pretty bad last year in the American League, but I think going to a different league.
But he
where
was
they haven't seen him-
sensational the year before that.
Yes, he was, and he had a pretty good second half. He had a horrible first half, though. I don't know if he was injured or what, but he really. See, he's the kind of guy. He's another one. What, 3 years, $48 million? That's the kind of deal you could get with Danny Duffy. What about Mickey Brantley? Where do you think he ends up?
Michael Brantley?
Mike. Why do I keep calling him? Because there used to be a Mickey Brantley on the Mariners. Where does Michael Brantley end up? Because he's a pretty good hitter. I always liked him.
The Mets? I don't know.
I'm hearing Phillies rumors as well involving Mr.
Well,
I would love to sign Brantley and Harper and just have
that'd be a nice
Herrera
outfield.
just not anywhere near the starting lineup and have Quinn in center.
If they
I would
sign,
love it.
if they sign Brantley, Herrera's getting traded
Good.
because
Sick of him.
because
I
Yeah,
can't.
Brantley-
I
Brantley
think
can
it's a
flat out
shame
hit.
because I think he has talent, but I can't deal with the guy being an all-star for 6 weeks and then being a AAA journeyman for the next 6 weeks. I can't deal with that.
that doesn't work well.
I need semblance of consistency if I'm going to make a run at the NL East, and Odubel Herrera just doesn't give me that. I'd rather have even if Roman Quinn does nothing for me at the plate, he's at least fast and he'll track down everything in center field.
But listen, you don't
So
have to have
I'm out with
you don't have to
Herrera.
have a great hitting center fielder.
You're
but
correct.
You have to have a center fielder. That's more of a defensive position. If you're lucky enough to have one that can hit a little bit, maybe hit for a little bit of power. Then,
Yeah, it's gravy.
Yeah, then you've really struck on something. And,
Maybe
and you're good to go.
Odubel Herrera can be included in Nick Castellanos' trade because Nick Castellanos can play right field, left field, or third base.
Wasn't really good in the outfield. He was pretty good third base. Detroit just it doesn't make sense to me why they want it. I think Nick Castellanos is a big time player. I don't get it.
Detroit stinks. They don't know what they're doing. So it's up to Matty to jump in and
well,
poach
yeah,
him
somebody
like he did with Segura.
Somebody's
I
gonna
don't
go in
understand why
there
the Seattle Mariners are doing what they're doing.
No, that's another team that's.
I
Really
mean, yeah,
confusing.
you let Cruz walk. Even if you can keep him. You won 87 games last year or whatever.
But then you take Jay.
I find it
Bruce-
hard to believe
You
that
take Jake Bruce and Swarzak back from the Mets.
well, you get rid of Cano's contract.
I know, but those guys are making a ton of money. They're not cheap.
You have to
either.
offset Cano,
Yeah, no, I understand
or else
that.
the Mets aren't going to do it.
Yeah,
And Edwin Diaz is fantastic.
Edwin Diaz is great.
So
I mean, I love what the Mets did. I think the Mets finally woke
the
up.
Mets
and
are
did
going to
something
get
smart.
Pollock or Brantley or something like that too. Maybe they'll trade for Real Muto.
I don't think they've got the farm system to trade for
Well,
Real Muto.
there's reports now that they've Derek Jeter and his crew down there. They've come back to reality and realized that JT Realmuto is not Mike Trout, and have lowered the asking price.
And he's not Johnny Bench either.
No, he's not. He's a good player.
He's a good player. I know that the Yankees were talking about JT Realmuto and they wanted Sanchez and the
Oh,
Yankees
so you're
aren't gonna
finally
trade.
going to pick.
No, the
I've been
Yankees
telling
aren't
you for 2 years that Gary Sanchez should be a DH.
They don't want. Yeah, the Yankees don't want to trade Gary Sanchez. So
You don't trade Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez is a DH because he's a total butcher behind the plate.
he certainly is. But again, he's still young though, so maybe he can become better.
No, either you're a good.
You can
Either
get
you-
better. You
can
can
get
improve.
better, yes, but he's
Listen, if he could
he's
just
really bad at
if
defense.
he could become average,
like
I-
Ryan
I'm,
Howard.
I'm
Ryan
not asking him to be a Gold Glove.
Ryan
okay?
Howard
Just
worked
be average.
Ryan Howard worked really hard and made
was
himself
okay.
into an average
He was
fielder
an okay.
because he was terrible when he first came up, and he was terrible post Achilles injury.
But he was okay defensively. He didn't kill you.
No, not in his prime. No.
No.
He would make a bad throw, like when he would field the ball
Well,
and try
first
and
base-
start the.
No first basemen are good at doing that. There's so few of them that are really good at making that throw to second base. To be
The
honestly,
question with the Yankees is
who's going to play short, and what are they going to do about their bullpen, and what?
I'm more
and the
interested
star- and what are
who's
they
going
gonna
to
do
play
with the
center
starter?
field.
Oh, Aaron Hicks is playing center field.
Okay, you're sold on him.
Yeah, he hit 27 home runs last year.
Okay, but there's nothing about that thinks that was a career year for Aaron Hicks and he might not do that again.
No, I think he will. I think he could do better than that. Actually, I think he also missed he also missed some time with an injury last year.
It's
Aaron
true.
Hicks is a lot better player than I ever thought he would be. I mean, he's really and you know what
I remember
he's
you
a switch
torched
hitter.
you torched Brian Cashman. I think we were back on a different forum, but you torched Cashman
Yes,
when,
I did.
when
And-
Hicks came in.
and the fact that they stuck with him and they were going to keep him instead of Judge, and they were going to send Judge to the minors and let Hicks start in right field 2 years ago. Yeah, I was torturing him about that. But you know, at this point, Hicks has done a nice job in center field, and he still has that great arm.
Steven Stamkos had a hat trick tonight against.
Oh, that's a
Rangers.
real surprise. He always has a hat trick against the Rangers. What's the score now? I can only imagine.
I don't know. I don't care.
It would be frightening
Just wanted to
think.
give you that little jab.
Yeah, well, that's not news, Rob.
You can look
Tampa
that,
Bay.
You can look that one up on your own.
Just a little dagger. Just a little dagger. Ryan McDonough scored, of course, against the Rangers. So I think Ryan McDonough has almost 30 points already this year. Yeah, it's 5-2 in the third period for Tampa Bay. That's not a surprise, Rob. I was expecting them to get slaughtered tonight. Stamkos has
He's got a hattie.
yeah, he's got yeah, two on the and the Rangers, gotta stay out of the penalty box against that team. Of course, they got blistered for 2 power play goals, but that team is still loaded. I'll tell you what, they still have. They got guys like they still have Stamkos, who obviously is still scoring. Braden Point is great. Kucherov, Killorn.
They're a good
that
team.
team's still. They're Victor Hedman. That team is loaded with great players. I mean, they could still win the Stanley Cup. There's no question about that. It just seems like there's always some. It seems to me with the Lightning, it's always something with them. There's always some reason why they don't. Last year blowing it against the Capitals. A year before they were banged up. They almost won the Stanley Cup back in, what was it, 2015, 2016. I mean, they've been knocking on the door for a long time. Maybe this is the year they finally bang it down. But Rob, some predictions here. Where do you think with the baseball meetings, what do you think's in store for the Phillies this week?
I think they're going to get Harper.
Do you think that happens this week, or do you think it's going?
That's a good question.
Or do you think this lingers on to like maybe January? Because Boris does like
No.
to play it out. I think Machado signs before Harper. How do you like that?
Maybe.
I think Machado signs before Harper, and then because Boris is going to want Machado to sign so that he could set the market.
Everyone's going to want Harper first, I think.
But I think Scott Boris will wait until Machado is signed so they can set the market.
Well, he's not going to cost them money because someone's going to pay Harper. Harper's going to make more money than Machado.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a more likable character.
I could
than
see the
Machado.
Phillies trying to get something done this week, and Harper being a douche because he is a douche. And then,
but they'll eventually sign him, I think.
But I could see the Phillies saying, "Okay, well, we don't need you. We'll get Brantley and Machado, and we'll save money, or we'll get 2 players for the price of Harper." So if Harper really wants to be in Philadelphia,
Which I kind of wonder about. Because he hasn't, he's kind of inferred a while ago that he really didn't want to play there. He didn't want to play in New York. But then everybody said he meant Flushing, with the Mets and not the Yankees. Who knows now?
He's been looking forward to being a free agent for a while.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know his
and
dad
I think
wanted to play
that's
for the Yankees.
part of the reason he hit 220 post All-Star break and then over 300 after the All-Star break.
Yeah, because he was counting.
I think he had dollar signs in his eyes in
he
the
was-
first half
he
of
was
the
counting
season
his
last
money.
year. Bryce Harper is so tremendous.
No,
He's such an extraordinary talent.
So is Machado, though.
I agree. I agree. They're both generational talents. But if I can only have one, and I'm the Philadelphia Phillies, I'm signing Bryce Harper. I'm trying to get it done as quick as possible. I'm trying to get it done this week at the winter meetings because I can't leave my fan base and my ownership in limbo into January. I need to get something done. They already did something great. They got Segura. Love the signing. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I thought that was a big time signing because you not only improve defensively.
So
but
I
you
think
improved
the
offensively as well.
Phillies will sign either Manny Machado or Bryce Harper this week.
Pitchers.
I don't know. I could see the Phillies not getting a starter and maybe grabbing Britton and a couple of the bullpen guys. Because Gabe likes to manage every game like it's the 7th game of the World Series, so he needs a good bullpen to do that. They also need a bench.
Bench you can always fill in later.
Yeah, but not the way Gabe likes to manage the games. You need borderline starters. You need a borderline starter, extra infielder, and a good 4th outfielder.
Well, look, I mean, as far as like an extra infielder,
I would sign. I would be much
there's
more.
There's so many of those kind of guys available, though.
I'm not so sure anymore about A.J. Pollock. I think I would favor signing Michael Brantley instead of.
I think A.J. Pollock is going to end up with the Mets playing center field.
I think you're right.
I think that seems to be a foregone conclusion. And the Mets are going to be taking a big chance because with all the injury issues they've had over the years.
Well, the Mets got to do something. The Mets got to do something to score some runs. Their pitching is too good to waste. They got to. They got to go for it.
And you know what? The thing is, they've got probably a 2-year window now with their pitching because in 2 years they're not going to be able to pay both DeGrom and Syndergaard. And you know, after this year, most likely Wheeler is going to be a free agent.
And I don't understand why the Mets would trade Noah Syndergaard. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't believe for 1 second he gets traded.
That's silly.
I think they're putting it out there just to see what kind of a offer they get. But unless you absolutely blow them away, and they don't want minor leaguers for Noah Syndergaard, they want a big time player for him, and I don't blame them. You know, so
yeah, it's reasonable request.
Yeah, they're not going to take your top farm piece. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for if you're going to trade, if you want Syndergaard, you got to give me Trout. I'm not saying necessarily Trout, but you understand where I'm going with this.
Yeah, they want a
slugger. They want a
hitter that can
hit like
because
Syndergaard
they have a
can pitch.
surplus of starting pitching.
Right.
As bad as they were last year, and as weird as that sounds, they have
absolutely
borderline elite starting pitching.
Yeah, I mean they want like a Paul Goldschmidt type of hitter. That level kind of hitter for Syndergaard, and you know what? I don't blame him. I would want that. If I'm a Met fan,
I would keep an eye on Zach Greinke this week.
Yeah, but he makes a lot of money. I mean, how much money is Arizona?
Good.
I know, but how much money is Arizona going to eat?
Well, that's up to Arizona and the team that they trade with. I think
he's not going to the Yankees. I can tell you that, and he's not going to Boston because he has a no trade. He has no trade for those teams.
That feels like an Atlanta move. I don't know about his no trade clause. I'd have to look, but
that
feels like
the Yankees and Boston are. I know
but
that.
Doesn't he get
too
nervous in big markets?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't work anyway.
Atlanta would be a that sounds like an Atlanta
maybe
move.
An Atlanta move, maybe a Chicago White Sox move if they're really trying to make a splash.
Chicago could be a big.
I think the White Sox are going to do something. I like the White Sox. I don't like the Cubs. I like the White Sox.
I think the Cubs are going the wrong way.
I don't disagree with you. But that's our music. It's 10 o'clock. The Sports Hounds have concluded on A2D Radio. We'll be back next Monday with some more NFL Winter Meetings, NBA talk. Until then, peace.